dog. I a good sissified boy. Effeminate men spread your cheek. They all soft, dog. I need my boyfriend. Please spread your leg, dog. Suck my ass, please. Please, dog. Philip came in from his office with a moist beard, and he rang out his sweat ring stained shirt. I maneuvered myself over to him and I said, Phil, let me handle the memberships for you. Dog, I'm not a good dog. I need my boyfriend. Please, spread your leg, dog. Suck my ass, please. Please, dog. I need my boyfriend. Please, laying on your back, dog. Suck my ass, please. Please. Man, I want to thank everybody for the 1K. We finally made it. We did it, and it could not have happened without you guys.
$13,000. AG Almighty 8 gang, pull up and get your shit splat gang. Pull up, hop out and scramble your shit gang. On their computers. Baller alert. They on computers talking shit offline, they losing it. 10-year legacy on life support, now the Patreon hit. The mod's a bitch, I'm being goofy just to send some bits. I ain't a snitch, but 3rd out of 3rd, he ain't never call a hit. Mimology, Mr. Hustler, Vanilla on speed dial. My niggas wild, can't forget Theo and he the golden child. Who else around? Taking swaggins and DSP on some goofy shit. KG a bitch, trips to Japan, he get finesse by a chick. He a trick, I just made a brand new socket. What we do, huh? We just trolled a brand new op, bitch. AG Almighty 8 gang, what up? Get your shit scrambled, gang. You can't get played like Rambo, Howard or the pack. Your girl a snack. She gon' get swipe right to see how you react. DSP is how you don't play. He failing games every day. Buying fast food with the tips is why he gaining weight. We troll a chill, socks is real, man, it's been a drill. Subcon went up a few days ago, bro, you know that ain't real. The streams ain't chill, you yawn and complain about your bills. Cackle be gon' damn near every night, you need some gin for real. You diss Ninja, PewDiePie, and the Almighty. What the fuck? How you go feel when them Twitch cops not on your side? Get that ass bang. Kicking the furries, sweaties do sweet just like some McFlurries. Chat put on sub, only mode the moms don't have to worry. Do them dirty, X pull up with the shit, they get super nervous. What's the purpose? Praise be his name, Almighty at your service. Pull up, they log in, what's up? No tips, no bits, they talk tough. Let me change up the style. Hey, game we go wild. Hey, what? We hooligans, cooling and bullying and fuck next, we up now. Ha, hey, game we go wild. Hey, what? We hooligans, cooling and bullying and fuck next, we up now. Hey, shout out to Susan and big ups to Porsche for holding it down. Hey, niggas out here trolling with a couple grand? What the fuck? To me that sound like you a fucking fan. Hey, do them dirty, X pull up with this shit, they get super nervous. What's the purpose? Praise be his name, Almighty at your service. Praise be.
It's Tevin's fall. Ladies and gentlemen, now it is time. It's a segment that everyone looks forward to. One of the highest rated segments of all time that I've ever done. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Phil's day off.
What's up, Piggy? Let's get it started.
Big ups, Meerkat.
It's my day off. Might leave the camera on and jerk off. It's my day off. Spend money on posing dumb shit. It's my day off. Might go out with my bitch wife, can't give me money today. Give me money today.
This is where my fucking money goes to every month. Garbage dump, grocery shopping, paying my taxes, pet store, paying my bills, blowing his money on mobile games, blowing his money on this and that. I'm spending all this money buying DoorDash for my business. I need to put disgusting food in the mouths of my family members. Obviously, I need tips. Yes, I spend money on mobile games. Okay? These are my life priorities. Paying my taxes.
It's my day off. Might leave the camera on and jerk off. It's my day off. Spend money on posing dumb shit. It's my day off. Might go out with my bitch wife, can't give me money today.
Obviously, I need tips.
Give me money today.
This is where my fucking money goes to every month.
Shout out to the trolls.
For those who contributed, thank you. It would be great if we get a few more tips. To make up earlier today, we did not hit the hat goal either. It's been a very slow day. It would be great if we could pick it up a little bit with maybe some contributions tonight with tips. If you can, just saying. You know, I know some people are super chatting or whatever. That helps long term, but right now I really can help. Tomorrow's my day off. The tips I'll have for my day off, you see?
Give me money today.
Big vibes, big waves. You know what time it is? It's timeless. Oh, this shit smoking so smooth too. I'm zoning. I've been back to back rolling. New shit, mad cow, the only ones that grow it. 100+ jars, taking notes while I'm smoking. The air feel a little different when you sit above the ocean. Shout out to the breeders, let me educate your palate. I started with a zip and now we freighted by the pallet. That's love. The drugs, it got me out the mud. It got me in this crib, the view compliment the buzz. I forgot where I was, 6 different homes. I took 300 and blew it on a stone. My pinky worth the crib, with an acre and a pool. Go direct to the source, don't let them play you like a fool. I'm cool as a Bay Breeze, someone called Drizzy. In Toronto going nuts, Bull Rider got me dizzy. The bills all crispy, I paid with all cash. Then pulled out the bank, I pulled it out the brown bag.
Ooh, fuck up the glass. Backseat riding with the windows cracked. Move a little different around here. Yeah, a little thicker around here.
It's different.
Fuck up the glass. Good time rolling, make it hard to pass. Move a little different around here. Yeah, a little thicker around here.
I'm zoning. I be in my own world, my heart beating. It feel like I'm on, girl. The room smell like piss from the cheetah I just lit. I'm quiet, like I'm about to plead the fifth. This shade is hard to pass. I'ma need a zip, and I'm smoking for the homies until they free to click. The crew don't eat much, you don't feed them shit. Bought them little ass chains. I'm like, who need a whip? Cats want my spot. Go ahead and try. It's not stepping on my toes when you sold them all live. Yeah, white ash with the hash ring. My living room looking like the damn cream. I smoke too good to have a bad dream, but rich is so sick, but they never even had cream. Legendary moves only. Shout out to the big homie Bodie. Yeah.
Ooh, fuck up the glass. Backseat riding with the windows cracked. Move a little different around here. Yeah, a little thicker around here.
It's different.
Fuck up the glass. Good time rolling, make it hard to pass. Move a little different around here. Yeah, a little thicker around here.
Around here. Yeah. Around here. Yeah. There's levels to the waves. They're a little thick around here. The view's a little different around here. Got it.
So many stripes, it look like I got zebra on. I do this shit at night, I never see the sun. My last bitch was just another test I cheated on. I'm about to kill another track, give me the gun. Me in the stew feel like somebody left the heater on. I'm with my bitch, but do not think that I won't leave with none. So many stripes, but I can't put Adidas on. Let go, let go. My whip way faster than my ops. My whip way faster than my ops. I fuck more bitches than my ops. I fuck more bitches than my my ops. Laughing at my ops. I fuck more hoes than Jamie Foxx. Y'all niggas need to stop. Let go. Right off the top, I got some topping. Passed her like a ox. Let go. We got Dracos, we got Glocks. We also down the box. Yes, we sharing bitches like some stock. We also looking for some walk. I like to record me getting top. I made more movies than The Rock. Ha ha ha. Oh bitch just unblocked. I'm finna reminder why she left. Told her I wouldn't cheat, but I forgot. 4 bitches on me, bro, I need some help. So many stripes, I done and dressed like Beetlejuice. Let go. I dropped my top today, I do not need a roof. No, sir. I told her next time, baby, I'll be bulletproof. Let go. I'm Dr. Jeffrey, when it's smoke, I pull a tooth. Okay, yo. So many beams on your face, it look like chicken pox. I put my bitch outside, she out there kicking rocks. I like to shoot my shot, y'all niggas miss a lot. I miss some shitty beef, I work at City Walk. Let go. My whip way faster than my ops. Let's go. I fuck more bitches than my ops. Let go. I get more money than my ops. Ain't nothing funny but my ops. Ha 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 ha, laughing at my ops. My new bitch look like Megan Fox, y'all niggas need to stop. And what's the number to 911? I never called the cops. My bitch with me while I go shop, I won't even buy socks. He say he got a problem, suck a crotch. She tried to talk, I turned the music up a notch. Y'all niggas sweet like butterscotch, I just met me another thought. I'm smoking on some bumper clots, some shit my bitch just bought. I got the same amount of stripes a tiger got. Let go. You want the truth, and here's the truth, I lie a lot, bitch. But I ain't lying when I say my whip way faster than my ass. I fuck more bitches than my ass. I'm out here laughing at my ass. Laughing at my ass. I fuck more hoes than Jamie Foxx. Y'all niggas need to stop.
It's easy on the track.
Brick by brick, and I'll be damned if I let you tear it down just cause you don't like the way another nigga talk.
Anyone out there
Dottie,
can say
this one
what
is
they
crazy.
want about me, I'm not going to stop them.
Alright, so Raven, you striking a nigga? Murray ain't chill, he put lights on you niggas. Gonna need a vest if you playing defender. Shooting at him and them niggas that's with you. This clip ain't enough, I'ma need an extender. Talk about Phil, but you playing pretender. Yeah, Addy was leaked, I should pull up and hit you. Pedo ass niggas get took out the picture. We ain't letting up till you niggas surrender. Lugo a bitch, I can tell that he tender. Ran over niggas, Land Rover defender. Bad ass nigga need to try to be slender. It's clear, we don't like none of y'all niggas. Get them out, fourth down, punch y'all niggas. Play with your ponies, you punk ass nigga. Shit ain't Nintendo, I punch out niggas. Take down again, I come out with gorillas. Slide, they gon' cry, they gon' label us villains. Not gonna lie, how they cry, this shit thrilling. Grown ass men, stay away from the children.
Lame ass pedal, nigga, and I ain't forget about that little bitch either.
And that bitch AT, she a
No.
That bitch AT, she a weirdo. So I with a pedal, you ain't dying a hero. So I don't want you to stop riding, weirdo. Views going down till you niggas hit zero. Packing them up, roll them up, I'm a Dero.
I'm not going to police what people think and what to do.
Alright, so Raven, you striking a nigga? Murray ain't chill, he put lights on you niggas. Gonna need a vest if you playing defender. Shooting at him and them niggas that's with you. This clip ain't enough, I'ma need an extender. Talk about Phil, but you playing pretender. Yeah, Addy was leaked, I should pull up and hit you. Pedo ass niggas get took out the picture. We ain't letting up till you niggas surrender. Lugo a bitch, I can tell that he tender. Ran over niggas, Land Rover defender. Bad ass nigga need to try to be slender. It's clear, we don't like none of y'all niggas. Get them out, fourth down, punch y'all niggas. Play with your ponies, you punk ass nigga. Shit ain't Nintendo, I punch out niggas. Take down again, I come out with gorillas. Slide, they gon' cry, they gon' label us villains. Not gonna lie, how they cry, this shit thrilling. Grown ass men, stay away from the children. Waiting on Vega to switch, is you joking? Vega ain't switching for none, keep hoping. Telling yourself lies, gotta keep coping. Don't know what it is, what the fuck is they smoking? Pack of you niggas, this shit got me floating. Flowing me up in the sky like a Boeing.
All right, now members, that's enough of that. It's time for us all to retire to our respective rooms and get to know our new young boys. All right.
Dude, being mature is boring.
Yeah. Everyone come up and grab your room keys and we'll head upstairs.
2 et 2, 4, 4 et 4, 8, et 8 et 8.
Dude, I think these guys mean to have sexual encounters with us. I know, dude. Let's get the hell out of here.
Hello, everybody. It's Dark Side Phil.
It's your boy, Wings of Redemption.
This is how we chill.
Look here. Look, let's.
Joe Murray spends his whole fucking day talking about Phil. Joe Murray spends his whole fucking day talking about Phil.
It's time for another relaxing chill session. Load up, down. No need to be stressing, flying sky high. On these Wings of Redemption, Chill Murray 7. That's my decompression.
Joe Murray spends his whole fucking day talking about Phil.
The great Robert Greene once said that you can tell a lot about a leader and how they respond to failure. And he said, you can definitely tell about narcissistic leaders. He said, because they react to failure, to criticism with a great rage. They thirst for vengeance. They have this sense of righteousness. In today's video, I want to talk about the perils of narcissistic leaders. Something that the Stoics knew a lot about, something that was common in ancient Rome and ancient Greece, a perennial force in politics and human history, and something the Stoics themselves, who were in positions of leaders. Marcus Aurelius becomes the emperor of Rome.
Man, bro.
The great Robert.
No, I'm actually crash out. I get one. I literally get one because things are always fucked up on my streams, and I keep my shit together. But fuck,
said that
no.
You can tell a lot.
No, every time I fucking turn my computer off and I reset it, and the motherfucker did an update. He reset all my goddamn audio settings everywhere. It's the most annoying shit ever. It genuinely is. I'm sitting here like all retarded, talking to my fucking self in the fucking living room, bro. Other times it's me. It's all me. But no, bro, fuck. That's fucking retarded. And I'm not gonna be like Phil and redo the whole goddamn blabbing intro I did. Okay, so I'm gonna speed through it. 10 seconds, alright? We're gonna finish our discussions on narcissism, how it relates to DSP. We're gonna fucking talk about World of T-shirts, a lolcow that I've been following for over a year, but some of you guys have never seen this fucking autistic spurg. We're gonna fucking talk about that. Fucking Phil, bro, he's still trying to make fun of Destiny on Twitter. He just did this shit. We're gonna fucking talk about that. We're gonna play some games. I'm gonna get high. We're gonna crush some fucking beers and dabs. There. So, there.
You can definitely tell about narcissistic
No,
leaders.
we're not writing all that
because they
shit back.
react
No.
to failure, to criticism with a great rage. They thirst for vengeance. They have this sense of righteousness. In today's video, I want to talk about the perils of narcissistic leaders. Something that the Stoics knew a lot about, something that was common in ancient Rome and ancient Greece, a perennial force in politics and human history, and something the Stoics themselves, who were in positions of leaders, Marcus Aurelius becomes the emperor of Rome, were deeply concerned with not becoming or empowering. When he was 11 years old, there was a young boy adopted by the Roman emperor and groomed for power. He was made heir to the throne. He would someday become the leader of an enormous
So we talked about this fucker a little bit last week on the last Phil Day Off, right? But yeah, Emperor Nero, bro, he was pretty much like, imagine DSP in Roman emperor times, and he was the actual emperor, bro. Like, Phil would probably have, he would kidnap Tevin and Duty and make these fuckers like sword fight butt naked in the middle of an arena, bro. Like he would, just for his amusement. Like he's that just narcissistic asshole kind of
empire, as often happens to people who are heirs. The boy was coddled. He grew up surrounded by immense privilege, sure. But he was also given access to the best philosophers and teachers. He is taught Stoic philosophy from an early age. He's surrounded by powerful people. He's shown how the world works. Now, you might be thinking I'm talking about Marcus Aurelius here, but I'm not. I'm actually talking about Nero, one of the worst of the Roman emperors. Although their stories begin very similarly, they diverge. One is widely reviled and one is widely admired. So what is the difference? Why does Nero go one way and Marcus Aurelius go the other? You could actually argue that Nero has a better chance of succeeding than Marcus Aurelius because Seneca is his teacher. He's surrounded by one of the great Stoic philosophers, actually from an earlier age than Marcus Aurelius is. So what happens to Nero? This is the critical question. One of Nero's worst habits is his vanity. He's incredibly vain. He loves adoration and attention. He admires Olympic athletes, sees himself as being like them, but he doesn't actually want to do the work to be an Olympic athlete. So he hosts the Olympics, but then he rigs the Olympics so that he could win. He likes to write poetry, but when he hears of a more talented poet, he banishes him. Instead of understanding that his job...
He bans him. He literally, bro, Nero did the Lenin manual ban on a poet in real life because he was better at poetry. What the fuck? He was like, oh, get banned. Get this motherfucker. I almost said the N-word. Get this fucking N-word out of Rome. That's funny.
Demanded a lot lot of him. He saw that his job put him in a position to make lots of demands on other people, namely attention. He loved attention. He was addicted to attention. He could never get enough. And this addiction to attention makes him incredibly vulnerable to flatterers. It makes him very easily distracted. Epictetus actually tells us a story of watching a man suck up to Nero's cobbler so he could worm his way into the good graces of the emperor. So Nero had created this court around him of people who wanted something from him, people who were dependent on him, people who told him what he wanted to hear. And it created a bubble of unreality, as dictators and kings so often do. There's a story we have about Nero as he would race his chariots. He would arrange to have slaves clap and cheer for him. He wasn't always the most popular, but he fixed things. His vanity demanded that he always be celebrated, always feel like he was loved. And this mattered to him even when it was preposterously fake and untrue. Nero
No. Kino Casino didn't turn Phil into a monster. Okay? What happened to Phil, bro, it's a classic story of all men that are already corrupt and already assholes and pieces of shit that get power, bro. They don't usually have as much power, then they get a little fucking pump of it, and then they fucking go ham. The actual them comes out. Like, what's that saying, bro? Like, power, it brings out, like, the corrupt, it brings out the actual fucking person, bro. You know, I forget the exact quote, because I'm fucking retarded. I'm not that deep of a guy. But I'll try to find that quote if I can. But, if you ever seen, like, Breaking Bad, right? If you just watch Breaking Bad on a surface level, you know, it's just a story about this guy that's broke, and it seems like everyone's shitting on him. Then he has cancer, and then he snaps and decides to cook meth and murder people. But as a story, if you analyze Breaking Bad on a deeper level, right, it's more of a story of how this man, Walter White, was always this asshole Heisenberg, right? He was always, like, self-absorbed and selfish and narcissistic and fucking evil, but it was always suppressed because he didn't have the power to indulge these things about himself. And that's what happened to Phil, bro. Okay, he has a kind of one of the big... Dude, I don't want to call Kino Casino big, because in real life, they're as big as duty streams, you know what I mean? Or TBS. They're not really that big. They're just big in their little fucking corner of the internet. But they're the biggest kind of like guys that sat here and gave Phil a chance, bro. You know? And gave Phil like a chance to get vengeance. And they used Phil. They used Phil to try to felt rich, and that's all. That's literally all. And fucking PPP, it's been revealed through leaks, bro, that he admires Phil. He admires how much Phil's able to grift people and get away with it. And PPP's all, fuck it, we need to kind of be like Phil. So it's like you already know what these dudes are operating on. And they pretty much gave Phil the golden ticket, bro. Because for the last 4 years, since he got kicked off of Twitch, all Phil's been doing is this super fake new Phil. We've been calling it new Phil, right? Like, he's like, oh, I don't say those things. I'm not like that. I don't like drama. People that do that are dumb. And, you know, all the shit he said. Now look at him, bro. All it took was 1 day of validation for his bad behavior, pretty much. And now he's like, yeah, I conned you guys. Yep, got away with it. No one cares. And he's sitting here and trying to fucking... get revenge on the community, on people that slight him. He's sitting here trying to ask June the King if it'd be cool if someone made a video about our community and shit. Like, weird shit. He's obviously sitting here. He's being himself. Phil is being himself, dude. Okay, it's just like in his head, he thinks he has power now. He has, like, a means to fight back. And he does it. It's like he got a little boost for a second, bro, and it's done for most
so vain and so terrified of being alone. After he murders his wife, he finds a male slave who looks like her, dresses him up as her, has him castrated, and then basically goes on pretending like he is his wife, even though he murdered her to begin with. He's a crazy person. And that's the problem with vanity and ego, right? They call this the dictator's trap. When people are scared of a leader, and that leader is incredibly fragile. Their ego is fragile. People don't tell them what they need to hear, and they live more and more in a bubble of their own reality. Everyone tells them they're an amazing poet, right? The slaves are clapping, so they think they're a great chariot racer. Everyone tells them they're doing a good job. They tell them the invasion is going well. They tell them that the troops are in great shape. They tell them that the finances are sound. They lie to them because that's what the person wants to hear, when in fact, to be a good leader, you have to know the objective facts of your situation, and you have to be able to deal with unpleasant facts and resolve them, not just make them go away because they're inconvenient. And look, Seneca is not guiltless in this. He would write speeches for Nero that were designed to convince, to gaslight the Roman people that this irresponsible...
Hey, yo, it was the same thing for Stalin and the same thing for Hitler. So, like, there's smart detractors. I'm going to say it because I am smart. There's smart detractors like me, and I don't know who else. But you've heard them compare Phil to Hitler or Joseph Stalin. And the dumbest motherfuckers, like brain-dead morons, like actual fucking stupid, uneducated fucks that are in this community or surrounded go, Phil isn't like Hitler. You see how they are? Hitler, he's not like Hitler. And that's not even what we mean. Okay? Like, Phil isn't a mass murderer or whatever, but he's still like a fucking goddamn, like, psychopathic narcissist, dude. He only wants to hear good things. He has these delusions of grandeur that he's winning the war when he fucking isn't, bro. He will let his community suffer for him to fucking get ahead. All kinds of shit that, like, these evil world leaders have done. When we compare Phil to world leaders, we're comparing him on a micro level. We're not sitting here saying, oh, he's just like Hitler. Phil's murdered. No, bro, that's retarded. That's childish. You know, just straight up childish. But it is fair that Phil has the same characteristics of Hitler or Joseph Stalin in the way they conduct their business and lead their communities, bro. Like, it isn't that hard. Like, you know, you can say that. Don't let it, if a motherfucker criticizes you, or, you know, for comparing Phil to Trump or Hitler or Stalin or Pol Pot, bro, fucking nail them with that. You're retarded. I don't mean he's a fucking mass murdering psychopath or whatever. I just mean this nigga a goddamn man-child, bro. Okay, that just be fucking leading just to serve himself for the most part.
Man-child was qualified, was not deranged. In a sane political environment, you know, any number of these things would have been the end of Nero. But it wasn't a sane environment, so it just kept getting worse. This is not normal, people screamed, I'm sure. But it kept getting more and more abnormal. And related to Nero's vanity was its evil twin, his ego. Nero was convinced he was smarter and better and more brilliant and more loved than he actually was. Epictetus, who is a slave to one of Nero's secretaries, has this great line. He says, remember, it's impossible to learn that which you think you already know. Was he talking about Nero? He certainly could have been. It certainly sounds like he was. We know that Seneca writes Nero all these essays, these wise philosophical treatises, but clearly he didn't listen to any of them. Clearly he thought they didn't actually apply to him. There's a famous Eduardo Barón González statue that shows Seneca and Nero interacting. It's one of the, I think, great Stoic statues. You have Seneca, who's got a scroll before him. He's, you know, maybe it's one of these wise philosophical texts. And then you have Nero just sort of sitting there, sullen, not interested. He's hooded, and he's clearly decided that he doesn't need to listen to the philosophy teacher that his mother had assigned him anymore, that he didn't need this guy who was always talking to him about self-control and virtue and selflessness and clemency, that he didn't need to listen to this guy anymore. And it's very clear, you can see a turn in Nero's reign. The early years, which were pretty good, where he listened, where there were adults in the room, and then as he got older, when he stopped listening, and that's really when the wheels began to come off, as they inevitably do for narcissistic leaders. The great biographer of power, Robert Caro talks about how power doesn't corrupt. He says that's too simple. He says what it does is it reveals. He says power doesn't corrupt.
Oh
power...
shit, that's the saying I was thinking of. I'm a retard. Yeah, power doesn't corrupt. It reveals, bro. Like, literally, and that even goes, like, for micro things, like the detractor community or fucking any online creator or anything. It's like power, any clout, any bit of juice, bro, you give someone, what you see from it isn't like, oh, because they got a little bit of clout, they turn different. You know, people like to say, oh, yeah, so-and-so changed since he got a little money, or so-and-so changed since he got a little success. It's like, no, he didn't change. That's how that motherfucker always was, bro. He just has the means to be himself without, like, suffering any repercussions for any, you know, ill-begotten things he might participate in. But yeah, that's what power does, dude. It doesn't corrupt people. Usually the people that seem like they got corrupt, they were already corrupt. They were already ready to do some dirt, bro. They just needed that little push.
Or reveals. And what we see in Nero is not, the easy narrative of Nero is that he is corrupted as he gets power, but it's actually more a process of the varnish coming off, the real Nero emerging. As Nero stops listening to his advisors, as he gets rid of his mother, as he dispatches anyone and everyone who could tell him what to do, the real Nero comes out. And it's not a competent Nero. It's not a open-minded Nero. It's a delusional, it's a vain, it's an egotistical Nero. And thus his collapse and his descent into evil was in this way inevitable. One of the things that power reveals about Nero is something that's very true about most egotistical people, which is they're actually, beneath what seems like confidence, profoundly insecure and paranoid. And Nero is perhaps believing somehow not legitimately the emperor, perhaps knowing that he is hopelessly outmatched and unqualified for this job, and then the very real dangers of having things that other people want. Nero is paranoid that people are out to get him. And slowly but surely, he creates circumstances in which he's able to get rid of his enemies, including his own mother, who he assassinates. He finds her unbearable, so he gets rid of her. He gets rid of a distant cousin because, you know, he hears of a meteor or a comet, and he takes this as a sign that this guy's out to get him. I mean, he's just wildly exaggerating all these dangers. And as he gets rid of potential challengers after challenger, Seneca has to remind him, he says, you know, Nero, it's impossible for you to eliminate every one of your successors. He was making ultimately a very basic Stoic point that we all die eventually and someone takes our place. But it's when his paranoia is empowered by his position, when suddenly he has the power of life and death over people, that he begins to leave this immense trail of bodies behind him. Because he just can't stomach the idea of anyone one day replacing him, even though inevitably, invariably, that was going to happen anyway. Although some Christians would later blame Nero for starting the Great Fire of Rome, he probably didn't, and he probably didn't fiddle while it burned. But like all, you know, incompetent, overmatched leaders, Nero is not able in the moment of a crisis to do the job, right? He's not able to properly direct fighting of the fire. And then once it's done, he uses this as a pretext for these enormous and vain building projects that he'd long have in mind. And instead of also taking responsibility for having screwed up, instead of using a tragedy to bring people together, you know, he scapegoats the Christians and begins a wave of persecutions that would last for hundreds of years. You really see, as Robert Greene was saying, a leader's true character in a crisis. And you see ultimately what a fragile, weak, and scared little man Nero was. There is this whole group of Stoics that would become known as the Stoic opposition. And they find Nero to be repugnant. Although Seneca fancies himself the adult.
They're like the detractors, bro. Literally. That shit's funny, bro. Nero is such a dick piece of shit, bro. that a group of people came together to detract against Nero.
In the room, the moderating influence on Nero, the other Stoics like Gaius Plautus, Thrasea, Helvidius. There's a number of Stoics who just refuse to go along with Nero. They defy him. They are
those Tevin and the first detractors, bro. This shit's funny, bro. It's like a 1-to-1 to Phil's stupid fucking life.
You might call the resistance. Nero just can't handle anyone not rubber stamping what he is doing. He can't stand that there's anyone or anything that disagrees with him, that wants to challenge him. And so they get locked in this cycle of conflict. He doesn't like that there's a Stoic named Agrippinus who has a sort of hereditary hatred of emperors, Tacitus tells us. He just doesn't like that Agrippinus won't come to his parties. He can't wrap his head around people not wanting to celebrate and love him. He thinks this is something he's entitled to rather than something he has to earn. Helvidius, one of the Stoics, is banished for having said something positively about Brutus, the killer of Caesar. Nero takes this somehow indirectly as a threat. Paranoia is just spinning him out of control. Ultimately, Nero is just incompetent. He just doesn't have the stuff. This is the problem with hereditary rulers, but he doesn't do the work to be qualified to do this job. He doesn't take it seriously. And as he's piling up bodies after body of critics of his regime, there's a story about one conspirator against Nero who's put to death, and as he stares out into the grave they're about to throw him in, he says, "Ugh, this too is not up to code." It was an embodiment of everything that was wrong with Nero. It's not just that he was cruel, it's that he was bad at being in charge. Nero's greatest enemy is this Stoic named Thrasea. And basically the source of their disagreement is that Thrasea insists on truth and justice and reality, that he tries to be good at his job, and this inevitably puts him on a collision course with Nero. He's the guy that says this is not normal, that there's something wrong with this guy, that this doesn't make sense. And so when Nero wants to shower his new wife with honors, Thrasea doesn't want to go along with it. When Thrasea saw corruption, he called it out. But this was in parcel of what Nero wanted, on what his regime sat on. And so they were inevitably going to be enemies. Nero's sycophants whispered that he has to kill Thrasea. He says, "The country in its eagerness for discord is now talking of you, Nero." One man whispered into his ear, "They're talking of you and Thrasea as it once talked of Caesar and Cato." Cato was a hero, and Nero couldn't handle a hero existing, so he has to get rid of him. Nero expresses his displeasure to Thrasea. He expects him to throw himself at him, beg to be forgiven. Instead, Thrasea says, "If you think I'm guilty of something, name your charges. Accuse me out in the open." And ultimately, they bring Thrasea up on these false charges, and he is executed. We're told that some of his last words are, "Nero can kill me, but he cannot harm me," meaning that he refused to be corrupted by and degraded by Nero, even though Nero did have the power and life and death over him. But as it does for all gangsters and tyrants and bullies, eventually the support for Nero erodes, and it erodes slowly and then all at once. Ultimately, Nero has to kill Seneca as well, and he sends goons to dispatch the man who had raised him basically like a son. And as everyone wept and cried in Seneca's house, Seneca stopped him and he goes, "Why is this surprising to you?" He said, "Who knew not Nero's cruelty?" He said, "Look at all the other terrible things he's done to people close to him." He said, "What's left then for him to take me out too?" It had always been there. Who Nero was always there. Power just enabled it. Nero had driven himself into a wicked downward spiral. He descended into madness. And eventually the Stoic opposition applies enough pressure. But of course, even at the end, Nero was a coward. He couldn't take responsibility. He couldn't take ownership. He couldn't go out like a man. One of the members of the Praetorian Guard, when they're watching this cowardly,
like
selfish
Phil.
man.
Just like Phil, and how he can't, just let the streak die. He has to sit here and pretend tips and go super hard because he needs to be the winner no matter what. He can never suffer an L, even though his whole life is an L.
Child frantically try to save himself. He goes, is it as awful as that to die? Finally, even his trusted bodyguards abandon him. And facing what would have been a horrendous death sentence, he would have been tied to a tree and then beaten to death with rocks, and then his corpse would be thrown off a cliff. This is a form of death reserved for the very worst of the Romans. Nero decides finally to commit suicide. He can't do it himself. He's too weak, too timid. Finally, he has Epictetus's boss finish the job for him. And as he shoves the knife in to end Nero's life, Nero's last words are, this is loyalty. It's the deranged final words of a man who prioritized the wrong things from the get-go, who didn't know it was important, who wouldn't have known virtue if it's staring at him in the face, whose reign was going to end no other way than in violence and shame and incompetence. The Stoics would say character is fate. Nero had bad character. Of course it was going to end this way. This is what narcissistic leaders do. They destabilize. They jeopardize. Everything they touch tends to die. And it's why it was such a cautionary tale for the Stoics. Now, maybe this all sounds very distant to you know, a feature of the past. You've got this hereditary emperor, this totally unqualified, vain, egotistical, delusional, paranoid man in a position of power, ruling over an immense empire with, Stoic philosophers as his advisors, right? That's a feature of antiquity, but you could flash forward to 2016. Donald Trump is elected president, and two of his advisors are General James Mattis and General H.R. McMaster. I've interviewed General McMaster on this podcast. General Mattis has talked extensively about his fascination with Stoic philosophy, and both of them found themselves in the court, in the administration of a very different type of leader, who not only claimed from day one that his inauguration crowds were of unprecedented and enormous size, which they objectively were not, but he insisted that members of his administration parrot that back to him. His reality was more important than actual reality. He preferred his alternative facts to the actual facts. We have immense amounts of research that tell us that Donald Trump handled the presidential daily briefing. The president of the United States gets a classified briefing every day of a handful of pages of the greatest, most expensive, hard-won intelligence in the world. And just in the way that Nero sat hooded, uninterested in the teachings and the insights and the, news that Seneca brought him, so we have Donald Trump asking to get on with it, to shorten it. We're told that the intelligence community had to not just shorten each of the briefings, but they wanted it as a story. Trump wanted to see his own name in it often. He was uninterested in things that were complicated and things were negative. When in 2020, the COVID-19 virus began spreading all over the world, Donald Trump blamed his advisors for not having told him about it. And in fact, they had tried to tell him about it. He just wasn't interested in it, right? You can't learn that which you think you already know. Conceit is the impediment to knowledge. He was inherently suspicious of, resentful of the intelligence community for a number of reasons, mostly having to do with the Russia investigation. He just wasn't interested in hearing what they had to say, and thus he misses an enormous crisis, a crisis whose destruction and devastation would dwarf even that of Nero's Great Fire. And Trump preferred, what he was hearing on Twitter. He preferred not even cable news, but cable news opinion shows where the pundits, knowing he was watching, would often reflect back to him things he wanted to hear. And that's one of the things that McMaster told me, that it took him some time to understand that Trump didn't want to hear things that were complicated or unpleasant. He didn't actually want the truth. He wanted a briefing that confirmed what he thought about things. That he wasn't really interested in analysis analysis or deeply investigated or reported out information. You know, he just wanted things that confirmed his hunches or that enabled him to do what he wanted to do. And certainly he didn't want to be bored, or he didn't want to be lectured. In fact, one of the slurs that Trump would throw at people, he would call someone who was smart or, you know, very fact-based, he'd call them professor. Okay, professor, right? There was a childlike aversion to anything resembling schoolwork or study or learning, because that challenged him. It made him feel small, which is what all narcissistic leaders are trying to avoid. That's why they want to have big parades and build big flags and see their name on things. It's also what makes them susceptible to being lied to being misled, to being sucked up to. You know, we talk a lot about norms. Cato gives his life to preserve what was called the mos maiorum, or the old ways. He was a person who deeply believed in institutions, in the primacy of institutions over the individual. But a narcissistic leader can't do that. It can't comprehend this at all. The famous terrible remarks of Donald Trump as he looked out over the dead at Arlington National Cemetery, he said, "I don't get it. What was in it for them?" And I take him at his word there, that he really didn't get it. He didn't understand. He didn't get the idea of sacrificing for something bigger than yourself. He didn't get doing something that wasn't in your immediate self-interest. And narcissists can't, because their whole life is themselves. In Donald Trump, you have someone who loves to use the bully pulpit to be a bully, to go after his enemies, to respond to every...
But that's just false, bro. We have the best intelligence community on the planet Earth. What are they telling the president? That is fucking false, bro. Can you give me an example, you know what I mean, of something that the intelligence community has told the president that is a lie? There's no reason, dude, and that's why Trump gets criticized. There's no valid reason, bro, for Trump to not believe his own intelligence community, bro. Like, get the fuck out of here. No, come on.
Criticism you can imagine. It's a guy who uses Thanksgiving and Christmas and holidays to attack people instead of bring other people together. You have Donald Trump telling people that he's, you know, as the greatest president there ever was, that he's as good as Abraham Lincoln. You just have almost incomprehensible vanity and delusion. You have bitterness and resentment and grievance. You have a guy who loves to retweet what other people are saying about him when it's nice. You have all the characteristics of Nero exaggerated to an almost absurd degree. And all this tees up one of the most inexcusable things that a leader, certainly an American president, has ever said, which Trump said at a press conference during the middle of the pandemic.
No, I don't take responsibility at all, because
you can't say that. The job of the leader is to take responsibility. You know, Truman said the buck stops here. A narcissistic leader, though, as Robert Greene was talking about, can't do that, because to accept responsibility would mean to accept something negative about themselves. They are constitutionally averse to admitting error, to apologizing, to understanding that the effect of something they did was negative on someone else.
That was 2016. Look how much skinnier Trump was. Holy shit, look at this.
Admitting
look how much he was
error,
actually slimmer.
Apologizing, to understanding that the effect.
Look at his side profile, bro. He's so fat now. He's so fat, bro. Then he tries to like lean forward and suck in his stomach to look slim, bro. This was him in 2016. He was so fucking much skinnier. He's like a fat fucking slob now. He's literally like Steven Seagal of government, bro. Like, he's all fat and gelatinous looking now.
Act of something they did was negative on someone else. And this is why they can't learn, why they can't grow, why they can't not make that mistake Again, both Mattis and McMaster end up kind of like Seneca, pushed to the side at some point because they wouldn't play ball. McMaster said they had a real frank conversation. He had to go, I'm not your guy. Like, I can't do this thing that you wanted. He was like a Thracia, if you will. There were lines he wouldn't cross. There were things he wouldn't do. And eventually, narcissistic leaders have this magical filtration system that
it's
gets...
not a secret. I'm center left. Like, I'm kind of more center, but I am definitely, like, more left. But when I was younger, I was, like, extreme leftist, bro. Like, for real, I was like, bro, fuck it. Like, during the George Floyd riots, I was like, yo, I was so hyped, bro. Seeing all the fucking white corporations and their businesses getting broken into. I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. Let's burn it all fuck down. But now I'm like, I'm matured, I'm older, or whatever. I own my own business and property and shit now, right? So it's like, oh, I get it, bro. Some of that shit was so fucked off, right? But no, I'm able to criticize, like, the left and the right. And as soon as, like, the right actually fucking comes up with some shit that makes common sense, you're not sitting here being a bunch of fucking retards online and shit like that, I'll definitely be on board for a bunch of ideas. Like, one more right-leaning idea that I'm down for is cutting the budget in certain agencies. Like, ones that are super underperforming. But, like, I do not agree with, like, what Elon Musk is saying. Like, we need to get rid of the Department of Education altogether. I don't believe in that. Like, I'm a firm believer in the American institutions we have. And I don't like how, like, the modern right seems to want to dismantle it all because they think it's all corrupt. They think it's all against them when it's like, bro, maybe it's like you. Maybe you're fucking retarded and uneducated and deprioritized. Maybe you should go to school. Maybe you should try to do something other than, I don't know, change tires for a living, right? But it's like, it's the same shit Phil does. Oh, I don't get everything I want in life and in this country. It's all corrupt. It's all against me. It's like the left does it and the right does it, and I fucking can't stand it. You know? Because I'm broke. I grew up broke. I was homeless. I did all this shit. I clawed my way out of poverty, bro. I pulled my ass out the trench myself, right? But I used the government institutions that were afforded to me as a citizen, especially during COVID. Like, dude, Joe Biden paid off my fucking student loans. The fucking child tax credits, bro, gave me so much extra money to put food in my house for my son and my family, to fucking pay all my bills and be comfortable with the money I'm getting. You know, even if it's not a lot. There's so many things that Joe Biden actually did. The Biden years were so good to me. When during the Trump years, I was fucking living in a group home. Doug, fuck this shit.
It's rid of people who would actually be of use to them, who would actually serve them well, and bring about...
I'll never forget the Republicans, bro, making a fuss and a stink about giving out the stimulus checks because they won't want to work anymore. Well, when things get better, they won't want to work because of all the free money. And look, they were wrong. Motherfuckers need to work. Motherfuckers are back working, right? Like, no, dude. You know, there's things about both sides that particularly get under my fucking skin. The people they prop up, like, dude, it isn't about the working person. The people that run this country have been neglected by both sides. But the right is really, really good at pretending and faking and manipulating like they fucking are, bro. Trump said, I'm gonna clean the swamp. Fucking literally makes Elon Musk his best fucking friend. Elon Musk is literally fucking the dude that benefits off government subsidiaries for his fucking companies, bro. Like... You know what I mean? It's just like the swamp is getting filled with more shit. Trump doesn't do a single fucking thing he said he's gonna do. I'm gonna lock her up. I'm gonna build the wall. I'm gonna fucking help you, the American people. I'm gonna bring manufacturing back. Joe Biden has, in fact, brought back more manufacturing in America than Trump did. It's like, oh, the Democrats are pedophiles. That's literally all the right says. It's
the
like,
people
what the
who make
fuck?
them feel a certain way.
And then the far left pisses me off because they let fucking trannies and trans people and gay fucking queers and shit take over the culture discussion. Like, nobody gives a fuck about trans people and trans rights. And then I have to say, oh, not like that. But they seem to take over the whole discussion. They're literally like 10% of the fucking population. You know? What about you? The gas, the fucking groceries, the fucking, your taxes, what the fuck, your paycheck, and inflation, uncontrollable inflations. Dude, because of Republicans. It's like Republicans are able to fuck shit up, and then Democrats fix it, and then they just get voted out, and Republicans take credit for the good shit Democrats did. It's just like fucked up all over the place,
who
dude.
confirm things they want and then eventually lead them into trouble. When Trump got rid of another general on his staff, General John Kelly,
motherfuckers went out and voted for him. I don't know. He barely won. That's the thing, too. Trump doesn't, like, overwhelmingly win his elections. How do you think Trump won? He barely won. I don't know. Fucking not as many dumbass Republicans died from fucking COVID and were able to vote. I don't know.
Who was his chief of staff. Kelly told him, look, you're going to replace me with someone who's going to have not as good of boundaries, who's not going to be as firm with you. And he said...
But it's like the Republican message, the messaging of Republicans, bro, it's better about, like, talking about the issues that affect most people. Economy, border, you know, it's like a lot of parents don't like seeing all this trans shit in schools, bro. They don't. It makes them feel weird, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I totally see why Trump won. It's not a surprise, bro. You know
what's
going to
happen is you're going to get impeached. And ultimately, Trump was impeached first, partly related to someone who else I've had on the podcast, Colonel Vindman. Trump sees...
Kamala Harris is hanging out with Beyonce's at the rally. He gives a fuck about Beyonce. You know
allies, not as people you support, people you work with, people with shared values, but as something...
They cater to people that are more rich and entitled than you or me, than people that vote for Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, motherfuckers are more hyped seeing Hulk Hogan than actual fucking billionaires like Beyonce and Jay-Z hanging out with a politician, bro. You know, it confirms things like they're all about the elites and shit. Like, Democrats are so retarded about their messaging, bro. And then they concede so much ground of Republicans. Like, we need to do the right thing all the time. Like, bro, no. There's like a point you need to do some dirt to fucking win. Okay? Because it's like, bro, the Democrats don't be doing as much shit. They still get accused of stealing elections and shit like that. What the fuck?
Transactional. And as he tries to extort Ukraine to dig up dirt on his political opponent, right, something the president should never do, that call is recorded and leaked and then ultimately leads to his impeachment. And then after Trump loses the 2020 election, he'd done a terrible job handling COVID. He had run a disorganized, dysfunctional campaign that was sort of the full height of his delusion and insanity because all the good people had been purged. He fundamentally could not accept that he had lost that election. He becomes a modern-day Catalan. We've talked a lot about the Catalan conspiracy here. This is a seminal moment in the lives of Cicero and Cato, some of the earlier Roman Stoics who watched as a populist demagogue loses an election. He loses to Cicero, and he just can't accept this. He can't imagine this upstart, this representative of everything he hates and loathes, that is Cicero, would beat him, that Catiline attempts to get this mob to overthrow the results of the election, which is precisely what happened on January 6th. After endless lies and misinformation and an attempt to bully his vice president into not certifying the election, this mob storms the Capitol, and they stormed it wearing shirts celebrating the Holocaust, waving Confederate flags, macing and beating police officers, killing some of them, chanting, "Hang Mike Pence." It was a heinous, disgusting, and dark moment in American history. Especially dark when you know that another American president, George Washington, who was so inspired by the example of Cato, so fearful of a Catiline, that Washington, when he hears that a group of disgruntled soldiers who had not been paid by the Continental Congress, when he hears that they are plotting to overthrow the government, Washington intervenes and he gives this speech. He saves America from such a conspiracy, such a mob. And on that day, on January 6th, Donald Trump not only encourages that mob, but once it spins wildly out of control, he dallies. Like Nero during the Great Fire. Where is Donald Trump for those hours on January 6th when he could have said something, when he could have stopped something? I've had two guests on this podcast. I've had one of them, Congressman Mike Gallagher, a Marine Corps veteran, talked about being trapped in his office on January 6th and having to consider grabbing his Marine Corps sword off the wall to defend his staffers. He goes on live television and tells Donald Trump to call off this mob, to call off your goons.
Mr. President, you have got to stop this. You are the only person who can call this off. Call it off.
But Donald Trump doesn't do that. And when another guest on this podcast, when Congressman Adam Kinzinger, who sits on the January 6th Commission, where they hear hours and hours of testimony about how this riot and this mob unfolded as he's staring.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. People comparing this to 9/11 was wild because it was almost worse than 9/11. We had a sitting president pretty much try to throw up the fucking table of democracy, Doug. I watched this shit live. I will never let a single person tell me, oh, this didn't happen, Chill. I watched this shit live with my own motherfucking eyeballs, bro. I was stuck to the TV for every single second of it. And if I was streaming during those times, like on YouTube, I would have streamed it with you all. Like, none of you guys would be able to deny this shit. This shit happened. It was bad. And Trump allowed it to... Dude, he was just kicking it. He was kicking it like Joe Murray, bro. What are you talking about?
Over this group of heroic Capitol police officers, he begins to tear up. And what does Donald Trump do? Donald Trump calls him crying Adam. He laughs at him. Because he can't accept the reality, the responsibility for the thing that he did. Chrysippus, one of the great Stoics, would say, if I wanted to be part of the mob, I would not have become a philosopher. A Stoic has an aversion to demagoguery, to populism, to riling the people up, because they're aware that once that happens, it's very hard to bring it back and can lead to dangerous, destructive, terrible things. Political violence was ultimately the end of the Roman Republic. It didn't happen in one swoop. It was a series of escalating bits of political chaos and violence. And the Stoics knew that a leader who would try to incite and direct that violence.
Bro, literally, if it was up to me, I would have set an example out of Trump and all his cronies. I would have had them all killed by fucking firing squad. I would have. And just for Trump, I would have did him a solid. I would be like, Trump, look, only one of these guys has a live round, and I'm going to make sure they're aiming for your neck and head. Make sure it's clean, right, bro? But, like, everybody else, everybody's bullets are good. Everybody's guns are loaded, okay? Well, I'm doing you a solid. If they miss, they happen to be incompetent and miss Trump, I'll give you fucking life in prison, bro. Go fuck yourself, okay? That's where Democrats
could not be
fucked
trusted
up. They should have
with power.
fucking literally pulled out the full dick of American law on Trump.
Trump,
for that
like
shit.
Nero, was enabled.
The whole dick. I
Seneca
would've.
was a contributor.
I would have been hated.
There's a fine
by
line between being a moderating influence and being an enabler. And different people have opinions on Mattis and McMaster. There's a great line in the novel The Blood of the Martyrs by Naomi Mitchison, which is actually about Nero's Rome and its persecution of the Christians. She has Seneca's brother say, "We've spent our lives serving the kind of state no decent man ought to serve."
But we
And he
try to
says,
pretend
and
like,
now
no,
we're
it isn't.
old
It wasn't
enough
that
to
bad.
see what we've
Okay.
done. We talked about Nero and how Nero
It was
was
1950.
revealed
Trump
to
probably
be
would have been
someone woefully
executed for sure,
unqualified
bro.
for power, as Trump has as well. But I said that Marcus Aurelius had a similar arc, that Marcus Aurelius is selected by the Emperor Hadrian. He is groomed for power. He is trained to take the same job as Nero. He is introduced to Stoic philosophy. He is taught by the greatest teachers. He is given job after job, position after position. He becomes...
Joe Murray said something on Hinge. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Ho. shit, nigga. Where do you think you stepped into?
Incredibly famous and important.
Go look on Kiwi
and yet,
Farms, bro.
he is
I'm
not
unhinged as
revealed
shit.
to be a narcissist. He does not reveal himself to
Don't let that
have
shit surprise you.
a
Step
rotten
into the wrong
core
shit,
or a
man.
bad soul. But it's also because he worked at it. He says you have to fight to be the person that philosophy tried to make you. He writes in Meditations about being careful not to be Caesarified, not stained purple by the cloak of the emperor. That's the kind of leader that we have to elect, but it's also, more importantly, the leader we have to try to aspire. Narcissism, ego, vanity, these things will be the death of us, and they will also be the death of the institutions that we cherish and the freedoms that we so often take for granted. One of Lincoln's great early speeches was against what he called the mobocratic spirit, that sort of angry mob that wants to tear things down, that wants to attack people and things, that can't stand not getting its way. And look, today we are threatened by such a mob. As citizens, as decent human beings, as lovers of justice, of truth, we can't accept that. We can't tolerate leaders who want to foster that. We can't accept or endorse political violence. We can't cater or join the mob. We have to stand apart from it, as the Stoic opposition did. We have to demand virtue from our leaders. And anyone who is that type of leader should be exiled, should not be canceled. They should be exiled, as the Romans and Greeks did so long ago. We can't accept, we cannot tolerate, we cannot rationalize narcissistic leaders. They take us to a dark and awful place. They threaten the institutions we cherish. They threaten the freedoms we take for granted. And more than just can't tolerate those traits in our leaders, we have to aspire to be, as the Stoics did, real leaders. That is to say, servant leaders. That is to say, leaders of virtue, leaders of courage and self-discipline and justice and wisdom. Every day I send out one Stoic-inspired email to hundreds.
I know we developed into chaos, but that's what we do. I don't really care. There's a content creator I really, really love. I love watching his shit. He's kind of a shit posting retard like me. If this page will actually load. God damn it! Everything doesn't want to work right. But yeah, this creator's called Ibiz, bro, and he talks about like Lolcows.
You know, one thing that never made sense to me was the...
He talks about like Lolcows sometimes and stupid like internet culture things. But he's dope, bro. I've been watching his channel since he had like 1,000 subs. Now he has like almost 300K. His videos are fire. His opinions and shit are pretty good too, dude.
The concept of slurs.
This video is about slurs. Pretty much slurs are dumb. And I think they're dumb too, bro. Like, dude, just the concept of slurs sometimes, depending on what it is, it's like dumb. How like some people are afraid to say the word retard. You know, it's like it's not like really a slur like that.
Like, you mean to tell me that there's words out there that are so hurtful for somebody that the internet has just automatically deemed it impermissible to speak of these words? Like, these are forbidden words, like we're in Harry Potter or something. And it seems like the concept of slurs only came up like 40 to 30 years ago. Like, yeah, slurs existed before then, but I feel like they just weren't taken as seriously. But then just like 30 years ago, everybody just was like, oh my god, we just need to take these slurs seriously. There's a bunch of examples I could give, but we'll start with the most tamest one out of the bunch, retard. But first, we're going to have a word from today's sponsor, MD Hair. Do you ever...
Oh, that's my favorite word. Y'all know that's my favorite slur. Slur. It's not even a fucking slur. Bro, whenever I see detractors use the word regard instead of retard, it makes my skin crawl. It just does. It just does. Because, like, they like to criticize Phil for being fake and inauthentic and shit. But then it's like, you're going to use the word regard when we all know you mean retard, but you think fucking obfuscating your fucking word makes you morally superior to Phil. And that's why it's cringe to me. Just say fucking retard. You actually look more retarded trying to say, shh. Retard? Can see the word retard. Yeah.
Hair loss problems? Does your hair look like Vegeta? Or even worse, Krillin? Boy, are you in luck because I have something for you. MD Hair sent me their hair loss prevention package, which comes with 5 different products, which includes some marine collagen, hair shampoo and conditioner, a good supply of supplements, as well as some dry hair serum. All you have to do is take a photo of your scalp and take a quiz on their website, and they'll use that with AI technology to determine which ingredients you need to customize your kit. MD Hair is backed by science, clinically proven, formulated with medical grade ingredients and botanical formulas. And all customers will receive
So glad I'm gonna never need this shit. That's probably one of the things that must suck about being white. You're just susceptible to getting the alopecia, bro. Damn. That sucks. That really does suck. I feel bad for you. I'm never losing my hair. Joe Murray gonna keep it all, bro. But
Question to you is, do you think somebody would be offended if you called them a mental Now, what if you told somebody that they're intellectually disabled? Which one is more offensive? In my honest opinion, I think they're both equally offensive. I think this change in terminology doesn't mean shit. Like, it literally means nothing. You just changed the slur. Like, I saw a video on Instagram of this guy calling a guy with Down syndrome who was playing basketball. He called him a reed.
When is the last time that you cried?
When that kid hit those threes. If you want me to cry, it's going to be out of joy for somebody else.
And he didn't mean it in like an offensive way. The context of the video was that he was, happy for the guy. He was excited for the guy. It brought him to tears how happy he was for him, and he called him that. And people were in the comments are like, man, yeah, you were so happy for him, you called him a slur, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, maybe he's just not updated and didn't mean, and meant to call him intellectually disabled. Now, my point isn't that I'm advocating for everybody to be able to say, whatever slur they want. That's not my point. Although I do think that's not my point. My point is, why are we just putting, just switching the terminology? Like, it's still just as offensive. I wondered this since I was, like, a kid, to be honest, and it wasn't with slurs. It was with, like, occupations. So you have janitor and garbage man, right? But then they changed the terms because, that's offensive and has a negative connotation. So we're going to make it custodian and waste manager. Nigga, it's the same shit. And I'm not making fun of these people either. Like, they're working a job, they're doing their thing, they're making their money, whatever, dude. But, like, why do we have to change the name of the occupation just to make them feel better? What, because there's a janitor character on The Simpsons that Bart Simpson made fun of in the 90s or something, and now we have to change the entire, name of the occupation?
Most degrading work known to man. Janitorial work.
Oh, I'm standing right here, sir.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's this word for, safety reasons. We'll call it trainee. You know what I mean? Like, you're training a guy at work, he's your trainee. How is this any different from trans? Like, I didn't even know this word was a slur up until, 2 years ago. I just thought this is what you call they, them. What, you took off the NY and added an S, and all of a sudden it's a nicer terminology? All of a sudden I don't have to censor it anymore? Oh, you don't understand, bro. It's about the history and the culture and, blah, blah, blah. Bro, don't compare your slur to the N-word, please. Like, I know you guys try to, take the N-word and its history and whatnot and try to apply that to your slur so you can feel special. But please, the N-word actually has history and terminology. Your slur has existed for 10 years. And it gets even weirder with the LGBTQ community because there's the F slur with the 2 G's in it. For safety reasons, we'll call this slur Figgle Bottom. And this was a completely normal thing to call a homosexual in the 80s. And then randomly it became some hurtful slur, which is still used for cigarettes in England. But, now it's some hurtful slur that I'm pretty sure they themselves call each other it. And then sometime in the 90s or the early 2000s, they once again tried making this word like the N-word. And it's like, oh, you can only say this if you smoke big doinks in Amish. If you don't do that, then you can't say that. Why is queer a part of the LGBTQ? I thought that was a slur. Who comes up with this? Do we have some secret?
That's why I've been using the word queer more lately. It's it ain't no slur. Even the LGBTQs, they it's not a slur. It's what they are, right?
We're Rothschild's board meeting where they just are like determining which word is a slur and which word isn't a slur, and like what? Yeah, they can't say bagel bottom or trainee, you know, as in training somebody at the work. But they can say queer. They can say queer and homo. Those are okay. Like what? Now when it comes to this topic, there's the big kahuna, you know what I mean? There's the big guy, the tough guy, you know? The one guy that everybody's talking about. There's the N-word. And I made a video on this before, but honestly, I took it down because I just thought it wasn't a good look for the channel, but I think I'm going to double down. I think the N-word with the soft A, you know, nigev. Normally I say it, but, you know, I feel like I've already been pushing the boundaries of this video, so for safety reasons, we're going to use the word negev, but just know I was having intention of saying the soft A and not the R. I think that's a perfectly fine word to say. I mean, given context, you know, you wouldn't want to say that in like a business meeting or something, but you know, you're just gesturing amongst friends. I don't see why not. Some black people are okay with you saying it. Some black people aren't okay with you saying it. Some black people just want to see the context in which you're saying it. You know, if you're not saying it in a hurtful way or a way to, you know, put somebody else down, then it's okay. But if you are, then it's not okay. I agree with that. There's some black people that think nobody should be saying it, you know, even with the soft A, even if you are black.
And they're retarded. We call those retarded blacks, okay?
And I agree with that too, but it's going to be kind of hard to enforce. I mean, some people say this, then let's check your Spotify playlist. You know, like it's like kind of 50-50. Some are okay, some aren't. But I think, you know, collectively we can agree, whether you're black or not, that the hard R is not okay. Like, yeah, you know, I'm an edgy YouTuber that says stupid shit all the time, but like when is it too far? You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't go out in public and say that word without expecting to get punched. Which in of itself is kind of weird. Like, I get it's a no-no word, but the fact that you can borderline get beaten, you have the threat of getting beaten to death over saying a word, even in a relatively nice neighborhood, is kind of, like, shocking to me. Like, I get it's a word, nobody should say it, but the fact that, like, you can get beaten to death over this word and everybody, like, literally everybody would be like, oh, well, you know, he shouldn't have said it. Haha, fuck around and find out. I remember even a few years ago, I don't know if it was because of the pandemic and everybody was all, you know, locked up and crabby and stuff, but there was people on the internet saying that actors shouldn't even be saying this word when they're acting to play a racist character. You know, playing a racist character with the overall message being that racism is bad. They're not allowed to play a racist character saying the N-word, and people were saying if they were given a script that had the N-word in it, they should have rejected the script and rejected the role. Like, how low IQ do you have to be to not see the greater good? Like, you know, and before your sensitive ass says there's no greater good in saying the N-word, please let me explain. There's a movie with the overall theme of the movie being racism is bad, and the N-word is bad, and they used white actors to just show how bad and hurtful the N-word is, and your first response is, no, they shouldn't have been saying that, and they should have rejected the role. You know, in fact, I think they're secretly racist with how comfortable they were saying the N-word. It came so natural to them. It's almost like they're actors acting. Hi, everyone. My friends and myself included all agree that the N-word shouldn't be said unless you're black. That's what I've known forever. Today, I, South Asian, was talking to my friend White that I watched 12 Years a Slave and was really uncomfortable. I'm not saying uncomfy, by this movie, since it was sad seeing all the stuff that happened. Then I bring up how Paul Dano says the N-word, and it's funny seeing the Riddler say that. We then get into this really interesting topic on the N-word in films. She says that she doesn't think white people should say it in movies, and that if they do, they should add a bleep. Well, you should tell your friend that she's probably mentally impaired because the actors are acting. And if you hold this belief, you probably shouldn't be watching a historically accurate movie. Imagine watching a movie about how bad the N-word is and then getting mad when they say the N-word. Also, why are non-black people trying to police the N-word? This is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, it almost seems like a projection of racism that you're stretching so hard to make somebody look racist that I think you might be racist yourself. Now, with the soft A, I might say it out in public. I might have to, like, you know, look over my shoulder and look around a bit and, you know, judge the reactions after I say it, but I still might say it. Now, why I think it's okay to say is due to the history and the context. Yeah, like, one word was used for slaves, The other word is the most commonly used word in rap songs. And it's been the most commonly used word in rap songs for like the past 40 years. If you were singing along with a rap song and that word came up and you changed it out for another word, like, what were people saying?
Yeah, you look like a clown. You look like a clown. You did, bro. You got fucking clown. You look like a fucking bitch nigga at the function. You did. My bigger. And people look at you with the side eye like, okay, bro. You one of those motherfucking whites.
Digga? I don't know.
If you are visiting Germany, you might hear this word. Digger. Nein, it is not what you think it is.
It's spelled with a D. Digger. It is a term of endearment.
Drilla?
That's my driller.
I think in 2019 people were saying nibba. I don't think that really rolled off the tongue as well, but does it really change anything? I mean, it's still your intent and your purpose behind the word. You're basically still saying the exact same word. Chink. Hey guys, post-editing Ibs here. I don't know what to call this word because every single safe word I try to come up to replace it sounds racist as hell. So I think we're just gonna call it chinke. Am I allowed to say that on YouTube? I don't know, but I know that this word has a double meaning too. It originally wasn't a slur. It meant something like a dent or like a weak point or something. Usually like in the form of I figured I'd stop yapping and actually just look up the definition. A narrow, open, or crack, typically one that emits light. A patch of light emitted by a narrow opening or a crack. Now, for obvious reasons, you can tell why this turned into a slur for Chinese people. I remember in RuneScape, I used to play a lot of RuneScape, but there's a weapon that's good against a certain monster, and this monster is like a beetle, like type of scarab thing, and this item, it has a chance of doing like triple damage, and when it does do the triple damage effect, in your chat box, there's a line of text that says, your weapon found a chick in the armor, and they had to update this and change the wording up. But is that really like that offensive? This would be like a Pakistani guy getting upset at Call of Duty Zombies when he has to go pack a punch. But is it really that offensive if you use the term like correctly? Imagine if a mechanic was describing an issue to a customer where he was like, yeah, there's a chink in your engine right here and this is causing the car to malfunction. Is he really going to get in trouble? And I feel like they've already replaced the term with like ding. Like people call it a ding now. Oh, you got a ding in your car. But I feel like ding is just as offensive to Asian people. Like, could you imagine if some racist was talking to some Chinese guy and was like, hey, you fucking ding, get over here? Doesn't that sound just as bad? But that's my entire point, is that you can basically turn anything into a slur if you say it hard enough, say it harshly enough, and say it with such a tone in the context. You can turn anything into a slur. You can just take the politically correct version. Like, for example, we had mental retardation, intellectually impaired. You can just be like, man, what are you, intellectually impaired? Are you an imparee? Like you could teach this to kids, 5th graders on a bus, and they'll turn that into a slur within 5 school days. I mean, in reality, words only have as much power as you give them. And I feel like that's a lesson we've been trying to teach the internet for the past 10 years. That just people just haven't gotten a hold of it. So now all of a sudden everything's a slur. I mean, back when I was a kid, it used to be sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. But nowadays it feels like some people would prefer the sticks and stones.
It is true.
We're
not watching anything about Osama bin Laden. Alright, let's get some of these tabs knocked off. We're almost done. I'm gonna plug y'all into World of T-shirts, okay? He's an autistic man that lives in New York. He's an alcoholic, bro. Like, he goes hard, dog. And he has a handler that enables all this shit. But he's so autistic, bro. He gets triggered about, like, the most minute things. And he crashes out in public, like, all the time. Like, one of the things that triggers him is when someone tells him to put the fries in the bag, bro. You know? He starts, like, gripping his head, bro. Like Charles Xavier having a headache. He starts screaming. And the motherfuckers are like, put the fries in the bag. But this fucker's like weird. And I'm still learning about him. Like, I'm in my infant kind of stages of learning about World of T-shirts. So we're kind of learning together, guys. So this should be fun. So yeah, here we go. I'm gonna put y'all on game. And then we're probably gonna get the fuck out of here, till tomorrow.
This is World of T-shirts, and he's the king of New York. Joshua Block, better known as World of T-shirts, is a 22-year-old TikToker with over 2.6 million followers. The story of how this eccentric, alcohol-loving young man rose to popularity is quite a wild one. From eating bugs online, to dancing in front of his own Times Square billboard,
Concrete jungle where dreams are made of. There's nothing you can't do.
and even having a meetup with another infamous lolcow named Daniel Larson.
New York, concrete jungle where dreams are made of.
This is the crazy story of World of T-shirts, the alcoholic king of New York. Joshua Block was born on August...
Man, this is a fool. I'm gonna start following more closely, for sure. So, yeah, I'm gonna start doing updates. I might do a video about him so he does some dumb
August 7th,
shit.
2001. And like most people we talk about on this channel, there isn't a ton of information about his childhood and what he was like as a kid. Sadly, Josh's mom would develop ovarian cancer and pass away in 2015. His father would struggle to take care of Josh by himself following this, and his grandfather would end up taking legal custody of him. And this is when Josh would move from Virginia Beach to New York.
His mother had developed ovarian cancer, and she was on chemo and lived with that for about 4 years. And she passed away in 2015.
She had a different personality. She cared about people. She did things when we were kids. She would take us to the carnivals and stuff.
His father tried to take care of Josh best he could, but he was having a lot of difficulty. So I got legal custody of Josh.
It took a little getting used to moving from a different state. But once I did, I kind of liked it here more than I do in Virginia.
Josh started his journey into becoming the online social media figure he is today once he moved to the city. In June 2019, he would begin posting videos on TikTok.
It's raining, it's pouring, the old man is snoring.
And nothing would come of this for a few months until October, when Josh would post a video of himself eating crickets.
Yo, exotic food check.
Bro. Come on, man.
After going viral for the first time, Josh started to make even more TikToks in the pursuit of internet stardom. While a lot of his videos at the time did not garner much popularity, the ones that did helped him gain a small audience. And some of the things Josh was becoming known for was the awkward way he dances, the deadpan way he speaks, and his lip sync videos. I don't know if Josh has ever been able to properly sync up one of the songs he's trying to sing, and there's just something so funny about that to me. You don't need to be a doctor to realize Josh is on the autism spectrum, and this is a major contributor to all of his eccentric quirks and behaviors. I also don't think you need to be a genius to figure out what kind of audience was forming around Josh at this point in time. His quote-unquote fans were laughing at him, not with him. And while that does sound sad, this is TikTok at the end of the day. However, like most lolcows, Josh was oblivious to this fact, and the feedback and followers he was receiving was all he needed to continue forward in his journey.
The Chick-fil-A guy didn't say my pleasure. They owe me a chicken sandwich now.
As Josh's cult-like following grew, so did the amount of views his TikToks would get. He started regularly breaking 100,000 views on some of his dancing videos and his lip-sync videos as well.
Baby, I don't understand. You're changing, I can't stand it.
While a majority of Josh's followers were just there to laugh at him, this would not discourage him from starting new online ventures to try and grow his brand. On April 8th, 2020, he would create a YouTube channel called World of Interviews. And now there are only 2 videos on this channel we can look at. The first video is a YouTube short of Josh explaining what the channel was about.
Welcome to World of Interviews. a YouTube channel where we do podcast interviews with famous TikTokers.
And the second video is a 5-minute interview on Josh himself.
In the month of August, I started making TikToks. In the month of September, I grew to love the app. And then in the month of October is when I started to get famous. And I've been growing ever since then. I have about 241,000 followers. I also rank within the top 10,000 on famous birthdays. We should get as many subs on here as possible. And we should make money through the
Holy shit, dude. He's so autistic. It's like his parents were both like 80 years old when they conceived him. What the fuck? It's like he's ground zero for autism. Fucking the poster boy for Autism Speaks. What is this? Holy shit, bro. Like, I feel like a bully almost laughing at this dude. But he's an asshole. He's actually like a piece of fucking shit asshole.
Once we reach that requirement.
It's clear he thought this YouTube channel was going to be a successful venture where he interviews other prominent creators in his sphere. However, this project didn't get more than its initial first episode and was abandoned shortly after its creation. Josh would also create another TikTok account in September of 2020 named the Starbucks Club.
Welcome to my second account, the Starbucks Club, where America runs on Starbucks. Welcome to the club.
Literally, he talks like Phil. It feels like he suffered from autism worse, bro. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Phil here. Today, we're gonna play Bloodborne. It's just like,
Don't forget, you can only follow this account if you like Starbucks.
You see, Josh here is a big fan of Starbucks and for some reason decided to create an entire account dedicated to the franchise and its fans. And you were only allowed to follow this account if you drank Starbucks coffee. If you're a Dunkin' Donuts drinker, get out of here. You can't follow this account. It's not for you.
Why do I buy $5 drinks every single day? Because I do what I want with my money. Oh yeah, burning those sweet
It's like, bro, there's times I'm like, this fucker has to be like faking. He has to be like playing a character. You know, like Filthy Frank.
Talk bucks.
This has to be like some Filthy Frank
burning
shit,
a hole
dude.
in my pocket or my phone, cause I do everything mobile.
While both of these side projects had failed, his main account, World of T-Shirts, was becoming bigger than ever. On September 27th, a TikTok of Josh critiquing a satire video of someone using ramen noodles to fix a toilet would go viral, gaining over 300,000 views. Josh would post a video explaining how pandemics happen every 100 years and that would gain almost 2 million views for some reason. His next big TikTok would come on October 6th when he would dye his tongue purple with—
Cause retarded people don't know anything, bro. They don't know things about the world, about history, about anything. Oh, there's a pandemic every 100 years? Like, yeah, that's definitely something a retarded person that doesn't know anything about pandemics or studied fucking pandemics in any meaningful way would fucking watch this retard talk about it and give him like 200 million views? What the fuck?
With Jolly Ranchers.
So these will change the color of your tongue permanently for weeks. We're gonna put these in my mouth and wait 10 minutes.
Nah, bro, I swear to God, World of T-Shirts feels like some kind of fucking bit. Like, he's actually good at making it look like a bit, dude. The fuck? This feels like I'm watching Filthy Frank.
It's not coming off.
This video would gain almost 10 million views, catapulting Josh into TikTok stardom. And because of the popularity of this video, millions of new people would come across Josh and all of his eccentric behaviors. It was becoming apparent no matter what he posted at this point, it was bound to go viral. Take, for example, another well-known World of T-Shirts TikTok that has millions of views that I don't understand whatsoever.
God damn! Maybe I should go on TikTok. real, dude. You know your boy have a little emotion in the ocean on TikTok. I know I could crack like 1 million. Dude, TikTok makes it look easy.
I understand, but I
just
fell
gotta
down
make
the stairs,
like
so
a
now I got
retarded
glue
clip.
on my hand.
It seems like people just can't get enough of Josh and his emotionless, deadpan
probably get,
delivery.
like,
No matter
a
what he
couple
said,
100,000.
the following month
Let's
in
go.
November, Josh would surprise his fans by breaking into the music industry. He would announce the release of a song called Normality on the 1st of December 2020.
It's very short. It's only about a minute long, but it's all about COVID. Since I have Select, it'll go to TikTok, Instagram, Spotify, and a whole lot of other platforms. Be ready, it'll be coming.
And just like he stated, on December 1st, Josh would release his 47-second long song to the public.
I remember 2019, living our best lives. New Year's Eve came along, looking forward to 2020. It marked the new decade. Everything was fine till March. Toilet paper shortage, quarantine, masks, social distancing. No job, no school, no nothing. Lockdown, everything canceled. Oh no. I'm inventing a time machine so I can go back to 2019 and bring back normality. Get it? Normality, just what we need.
It's like shit you make when you have the brain of like a 10-year-old, bro.
Someone tell Daniel Larson he finally has some competition. Josh wouldn't stop with the release of just this one song. On December 31st, he would announce the release of his second song called Coffee and Boba Tea. This song would be released on Spotify and got over 130,000 plays.
Wake up in the morning, throw some clothes on, check my phone, run out the door. Where do I go? Of course, to get some coffee and some boba tea. Do I like it? Yes, I love it. I'm addicted, can never get enough. Woke up this morning, not feeling good. All I want for breakfast is some coffee and boba. Coffee and boba. Coffee and boba.
Fortunately for everyone, Josh wouldn't release any more music following this song. Instead, he would start taking his content to the streets of New York City. Josh began walking around singing Empire State of Mind by Jay-Z, and he would specifically sing the chorus by Alicia Keys, and this is where his most popular TikTok of all time would come from.
In New York, concrete jungle where dreams are made of. There's nothing you can't do. Now you're in New York.
This TikTok today has gained over 30 million views. And while that seems great for Josh's growing online presence, if you ask me, this is the catalyst of his downfall. With more eyeballs on him than ever before, he began to get approached by fans for photos and videos while he was out filming.
Can I get a quick selfie with you?
Not now, after I'm done with this segment.
I think it's safe to say for a normal person
What
being
the
flocked by
fuck,
eager
bro?
fans for social interactions, this could be
hell
a
no,
daunting
fuck
prospect. And for Josh,
huh? Huh? What, dude? Oh my god, no.
a socially awkward autistic man, this was an actual nightmare. Josh would start charging his fans $50 to take a photo or video with him. Now this was an attempt to deter people from approaching him, or it was to make a quick buck off his fans, but I'm not exactly sure about that. Even with this $50 deterrent, people still paid Josh for videos on the street, and this often resulted in TikToks of Josh looking like this being posted.
Hey, yeah, New York, concrete jungle.
The dude that paid him looks just as fucking autistic and retarded and ugly as fucking World of T-shirts. These are these people's fans.
Hey.
Look, yeah, he looks just like a person that would give a retarded autistic man money just to, like, do this. Bro! Like, oh my god, you're so ugly. What the fuck?
Yeah, New York.
But he's like, this guy's uglier and more autistic than me. Look, guys, I'm cool. I'm with World of T-shirts making fun of him. That's what they do. And some of these fools, they look just like this, bro. Even in the DSP community, they look just like this. and then I'm gonna make fun of other people.
Concrete jungle where dreams are made.
End up giving Phil like
There's
20
nothing
bucks.
You can't do. Now you're in New York.
Josh clearly wants no involvement with random strangers, and I think that's pretty apparent by the way he's acting in that TikTok. And if you ask Josh why he started charging his fans in the first place, it's because he didn't want random people to get famous for nothing.
I charge my fans.
Like him? And you notice that too, Phil's the same way. He doesn't want anyone else, bro, getting attention or getting popular, especially making fun of them. Because they think, oh, bro, they didn't do what I did and worked hard to get here. It's like, bro, you're so retarded and weird looking and weird acting. That's the only reason why anyone fucking, like, looks at you in the first place. Go fuck yourself.
For photos.
You know, you're not actually like an entertaining person or whatever you think you are. They want to kick up the ladder from everyone else,
They're gonna
bro.
get famous quickly for nothing.
I guess in Josh's mind, if you took a photo or video with him, you would get famous by proxy, and he didn't want that to happen. This would be the first point of contention Josh's audience would have with him.
Lolcow, that's what Lolcow shit, but you know, he's saying it differently. You know what I mean? He doesn't want people getting any clout or a dollar or anything making fun of him. He's aware of it. It's like he has a handler. He does have a handler, bro. Telling him, like, probably how he should address certain things so it doesn't look like he's a lolcow. That's straight up what lolcows do. That's why they don't like their trolls or their trolling communities. They don't like the fact, bro, that people get a little juice off of making fun of them because they're more entertaining than them. They don't like more charismatic, better looking, more entertaining people than them, right? Getting any juice from making fun of them. And it's like, I could be empathetic about that to a point. It's like, oh, what the fuck? Yo, this fucker just got like $1,000 saying how ugly I am or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, I guess I get it. But at the same time, that should show you or be like a wake-up call to show you how garbage you are as a content creator,
To
right?
think Josh only saw his audience
Some
as a source
random
of income,
could
and
sit here
that
and
he did
take
not
your
want others to
likeness
reach
and
the
shit
same
and
level of
pop off
success
from
as him.
it.
Most
Come on.
people did not want to pay Josh's $50 fee, and this resulted in a ton of videos on TikTok of Josh being filmed
TJ,
in
this is a
public like
garbage
he's some sort of
Nina.
wild animal. Also,
Yo,
not everyone...
You see how garbage this Nina is? I'm sitting here fucking pausing to do commentary. That's all garbage.
Because if I
don't
just
need to
take
lock
your
in.
picture-
There we go. This Nina ain't you, TJ. For real. Like, bro, a bunch of
They're
Ninas
gonna
like
get
fight are
famous
actual
quickly for
boo-boo.
nothing.
I guess in Josh's mind, if you took a photo or video
Boo-boo,
with him,
Nina.
you would get
That
famous
Nina
by
didn't
proxy,
wanna
and
play
he
with
didn't
me
want that to
either,
happen.
bro.
This would be the first point of contention Josh's audience would have with him. People started to think Josh
like,
only
"My
saw his
Nino's
audience as a
supposed to
source of
beat your
income,
egg."
and
Like,
that he
nah,
did not
bro,
want others to
come on.
reach the same level of success as him. Most people did not want to
This
pay
Nina don't
Josh's
know the
$50
dance
fee,
moves, dude.
and this resulted in a ton of videos on TikTok of Josh being filmed in public like he's some sort of wild animal. Also, not everyone that approached Josh was a fan that wanted a photo either. There was one day a troll would find and follow Josh all over the streets of New York the entire day.
Not much. My name is Dujlan, and I've been hired by somebody on TikTok to supervise all autistic people. And it looks like you're in need of my help. I'm going to be your bodyguard / caretaker. No, you won't. Hey, get back here. Stop the skate. Yo, away.
Yo, we need someone to do this to Phil at the grocery store. We need a local detractor to pull this, bro. I was hired by your detractors on YouTube to monitor Darkside Phil and all his autistic pay pigs. And literally follow Phil all over the city, bro. That's classic good trolling. But there's people from certain communities in this show. No, don't do that. They'll try to excommunicate you. Bro, I will fucking make sure you're okay. I will. Like, bro, you're not breaking any laws. You're going to get such good content, especially if Phil notices that you're following him. This guy, yeah, I don't know who he is, but he's been following me all day. And dude, even if Phil called the cops on you, it's like, they're not going to do anything. You're not breaking any laws, bro. You're not, dude. That's what's crazy. There's not an actual history of you stalking him in real life. You could get away with just a good piece of content. Yeah, we're monitoring the autistic people in Renton today. We're gonna monitor the most autistic of the residents here in Washington, Dark Side Phil. And you can just say that to Phil. I was hired by your detractors on YouTube. Imagine how paranoid and freaked out he'd be. Did he run to his little stream to go like, these weirdos, these guys are unhinged. I had one of them following me. I bet it was Duty Streams, but he told me, someone from YouTube hired him to follow me. I bet his Duty Streams. Like, bro, we would get such good content. Oh my God, bro.
You want me to call the police on you?
What a coincidence, bro. I just wanted to say I fuck with you, bro. A lot of people need to be like you. Look, I
don't want to talk to you.
I'm here to help.
No.
I'm here to help.
If I'm calling the fucking police,
and it's Douglas States.
why don't I report
I've been paid. Bro, I've been paid to come.
Well, tell him to cancel.
That
Tell
shit's
him you
funny,
want the
bro.
money.
Chill out.
Go away. Don't make.
Imagine Phil like freaking out like this at the grocery store. Phil, I'm trying to help you, bro. Like, go away.
No, I don't want to talk to you. No.
Tell Duty Streams I don't want to help. He runs away, bro.
I'm calling security.
What a random coincidence, sir.
No.
I want to donate you a shirt.
I don't want it. Get away from me. No. Get away. Get away. Get away.
Sir, I just want to take a picture.
No.
What's up, Josh? Oh, this is a random coincidence. Like, I told you I was here.
Oh, my God. How did you know I was here? That's it.
How do you know I was here?
Done.
Because you're screaming, bro.
I don't get paid enough for this shit. I don't get paid enough for this shit.
Because you should be collecting carts at Walmart with your retarded ass, bro. You the fuck? I don't get paid enough for this shit. Yeah, because you're a weird little autistic man that should be having a job at a grocery store. Not sitting here trying to make money IRL streaming. What the fuck, bro?
Let you have it.
You're inviting
No matter where
the
Josh
bully.
escaped to, it seems like the troll was always on his heel, showing up moments later. Now, it doesn't help that Josh was live streaming this entire thing, making it incredibly easy for him to be found. The next big moment in the World of T-Shirts story is when Josh paid for a billboard advertisement in Times Square. Yes, that is a real sentence. Somehow, Josh managed to save up enough money that he was able to rent out a billboard space in Times Square. The ad was a promotion of his TikTok account and was a video of himself dancing with the self-appointed title, King of the Concrete Jungle.
Dude! Nah, that's some actual king shit. What the fuck, bro? Like, Phil could never do that. Our boy DSP would never and could never do this. Okay? Like, that's goated as shit, bro. Bro, oh my God. If my ass is at Times Square advertising this retarded channel, I would die. Oh my God. Like, you made it. You made it, bro. You're able to afford to advertise yourself in Times Square. Phil can't even do that. I'm sorry. That's kind of goated. That's goated, bro.
You can't do. Now you're in New York. These streets will make you feel brand new. These lights will inspire you.
That's goated. That's some goat foot. That's actual king shit. Okay? Phil thinks he's a king. There's a more autistic Lolcow than him. Pulling bigger king moves than Phil. No, that's goated as shit. I can't even take that away from him, bro. Holy shit. And he paid for that. Like,
this could not have been a cheap investment at all.
No.
Renting out a space could range anywhere between $5,000 and $50,000.
Nah, bro, that's goated. That's why that's king shit. That is some king fucking shit. Like, he got a pay pig to do it, or he saved up, or his handler helped him do it. But no, Phil would never. Keno Casino could never get themselves on a fucking advertising billboard anywhere, ever. Get the fuck out of my face.
Day.
That's
How
kinda
Josh came up
goated.
with this kind of money is beyond me. Following this moment, the online show Side Talk would interview Josh.
In New York, concrete jungle where dreams are made of. Got Louis Vuitton because I'm banned from the Gucci store. Oh, wow. Yep, unfortunately I'm banned from there. Banned. Banned. He banned. You have been permanently banned. Michelle Obama ruined our school lunches.
What do you want to say to Michelle Obama about the school lunches?
Our lunches are disgusting. Friday, coffee and boba. Saturday, coffee and boba. Sunday, coffee and boba. I run this city now, me.
Can you tell the people about your level of clout?
I'm like movie star famous. I can't go anywhere without getting recognized.
Can I get a picture with you?
That'll be $25.
You turn a pandemic to a pandemic.
Bro, nah, this is the king of autism. Holy shit, Phil. Holy shit, Phil. World of t-shirts. Nah, he's a king. What the fuck, bro? This fucking little autistic fucking bitch. He is a king, dog. In his own right. Like, he's actually running New York right now. What the fuck?
And he got banned from Gucci. Banned from Gucci for life. Too much money. You see this?
It's Louis Vuitton.
This interview would do well enough for them to
That
come back
shit's
not
funny,
too long
bro.
later for a second round with Josh. It would be in this 1-minute segment that would spawn a new catchphrase for the world of t-shirts.
What do you want to say to 6ix9ine right now? He claims to be the king of New York.
I'm the king of New York. 6ix9ine is not the king. I am.
That's right, claiming he's the king of New York. This would be one of his new favorite things to say following his interview. There's an abundance of videos of Josh boasting this all over New York.
I run this city now. Me. This is my city. New York is my city. I run this city. Me. This is my city. New York's mine. I run New York. This is my city.
That'd be funny, bro. A bunch of, like, Italian mobsters beat the shit out of him, bro. Like, you know, he's doing a TikTok, they just pull up right behind and beat the fuck out of him. Yo, you better stop saying that you're the king of New York shit, bro, you know?
New York is mine.
Oh, hell no, bro.
At this point in the story, Josh has become a full-scale TikTok celebrity, and apart from people disliking him charging for photos and videos, there was really no controversy surrounding Josh. While most people viewed him as an online laughingstock, there was a core sector of legitimate fans that wanted to see Josh succeed at this point. It would be in the next incident we're about to discuss where the court of public opinion will start to shift in a negative direction for our main character in this wild story. Not long after the Side Talk interviews and boasting he's the king of New York, a fan would take Josh fishing. After the pair would catch a bluegill, Josh would claim that the fish lives in dirty water and then proceeds to smash it into the concrete beneath him.
Yo, this is the TikTok guy.
After slamming the fish onto the ground, Josh would proceed to stomp the life out of it while maniacally giggling the whole time.
What the fuck? Bash his brains out.
What the?
Josh gleefully turning this bluegill into puree on the sidewalk rubbed the majority of his audience the wrong way, myself included. There is something deeply disturbing about watching a man happily stomp the life out of an animal. And I know fish aren't regarded as the cutest life forms, but I don't think any creature should suffer this kind of death. The backlash Josh would receive from this incident was immeasurable. He took to TikTok to post an apology that was comedically bad to say the least. In his apology, Josh would claim that the fish was already dead, even though it was just caught caught and pulled out of the water. And then he would go on to say that the man filming him did not pay his cameo fee, so he should not have been filmed in the first place.
Okay, so a lot of people are upset about a leaked video of me stomping on a fish. First of all, the fish was already dead. The person who recorded me without my permission. They didn't pay the cameo, so they weren't even supposed to record me, but they posted it to set me up so that they would have an excuse to try and cancel me. I did not kill anything. The fish was already dead.
It is very clear Josh did not understand why he was receiving any of this backlash in the first place. In fact, he seemed more concerned and upset at the fact that he wasn't paid for that video, comparing it to being a cancellation attempt. As you can imagine, this apology wasn't received very well, and a mass flagging campaign would ensue, leading to the World of T-Shirts account being temporarily suspended. And with his main account temporarily banned, Josh would take to his Starbucks account to post another apology. This apology was received as poorly as the first one. Josh would spend a majority of the video whining about not being able to make money and not really addressing the bluegill incident past the first sentence.
Okay, I'm sorry about the fish. It was a wrong thing for me to do, to stomp that fish. Please, just get me my account back. It was my livelihood and they just took it away. You just took it away.
He's gonna pretend crying, bro. That's what Chris Chan does. Phil's done it too, bro. I swear, like, people with autism, they know what it looks like to feel bad and to look sorry for the things you done, but it's like they're not good at, like, pretending, like, acting those things out. It's like, people that are sad, they talk like this. And they sound like they're gonna cry. It's like, bro, you're not crying.
Away by mass reporting. Please, I'm terribly sorry. Just get me my account back.
He would continue to make videos like this until his main account was finally unbanned and his issues were resolved. And after his original World of T-Shirts account was unbanned in August of 2021, Josh would go back to posting like business as usual. While the bluegill controversy had left a stain on his reputation, a majority of his almost 2 million followers at this point stuck around to watch the spectacle that is World of T-Shirts. And surprisingly, Josh went controversy-free for the rest of 2021 and a majority of 2022, sticking to his usual brand of dancing in the streets and yelling about New York.
This isn't the entrance for the highway.
No.
What's wrong?
You're screaming. What are you doing?
Sorry.
Yeah, you should be sorry. Be quiet.
Be quiet?
No, yeah.
We're doing stuff here.
What are you doing? You're gonna be quiet. That's what you're gonna do. Okay.
A drastic shift in Josh's content would come when he finally turned 21. I'm not exactly sure who or what sparked Josh's interest in the bottle, but it's safe to say once he started drinking, he has never shown signs of stopping.
You could tell, bro. He's autistic, and I think in his head, like, turning 21 and being able to drink. I told you, I've been following him the last year, bro. So pretty much since he started drinking. And oh my god, he's falling off the wagon so hard, bro. Like, just super hard. I'm not even judging his drinking. He's a grown-ass man, right? But it's like, holy fuck, he's like sick. He be drinking Everclear, sleeping on stream. And his fucking handler, bro, just be sitting here accepting. Like, it's like only use me, Blade. If with a little more sympathy nowadays, bro. He just gets super fucking goddamn wet on stream. On shit like Everclear and vodka and shit. Bro, it's nuts. It's fucking nuts. And he just be crashing out. Just crashing out super easily, bro. That's what made me start, like, getting fascinated with this guy. He's like a worse version of Phil's autism if it was allowed to just roam the fucking streets of a city.
World of T-Shirts'
Like,
new
no
content, put
babysitter,
simply,
no
was
wife.
being a drunken mess in the streets of New York. It was very apparent in the beginning Josh had little to no experience with the effects of alcohol prior to turning 21.
What the hell is happening to me? I think I'm gonna be sick. Oh.
It is worth noting Josh would have a moment of clarity in this live stream, and he would even give a somewhat sincere apology about the fish incident that happened over a year ago at this point.
I'm sorry. Please, if I die, don't send me to hell. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry for stomping on that fish. I'm so sorry. I promise I'll never do anything like that.
The World of T-Shirts audience ate this new style of content up. And I know that sounds crazy, but as I mentioned earlier, this is TikTok at the end of the day. While there is a group of fans that want to see Josh genuinely succeed, a massive majority of people tune into World of T-Shirts to watch him make an ass of himself in public. And this is something Josh would do exponentially when he was drunk.
I took a tequila shot and I vomited.
A couple good examples of this is like the time a wasted Josh was filmed by a bystander arguing with a van full of people.
I got it.
That's right, he would run up and kick the van, antagonizing the group even more before hurrying off into the night. Another example is the time when the US was considering banning TikTok. A drunken Josh at 3 a.m. would be ranting on the subway about how the US was a dictatorship and that he was going to move to Iceland because of this.
I can't fucking believe I was born in a dictatorship. They're gonna ban TikTok in the US. What am I gonna do? What am I
gonna do for money? That's how Phil be thinking, bro. Like every day. What am I gonna do for money if this disappears? It's funny as fuck, bro. Like, get a job? I don't know. You know they still give autistic retard jobs. Get a job at Goodwill. What the hell is happening right now?
They're gonna ban TikTok in the US. It's my only form of income.
Obviously, this annoyed the bystanders on the train, leading to a confrontation.
It's my only source of income. Shut the f*** up!
Get a job!
For millions of dollars. You know what? I'm moving to a different car. Fucking jerk. I'll sue your ass. I can't do this anymore. I'll fucking sue the government if that bill passes. I'll sue the government. You fucking unemployed bitch! I'll fucking sue you! You son of a fucking bitch!
It is funny to note that he would eventually make it to Iceland sometime in the future where of course he could be found drinking. Josh would continue to get even worse with his alcohol consumption when a man named Michael Quinn would come into his life. Michael Quinn is a notoriously hated character in the World of T-Shirts community, and for good reason, having no real skills or talents to amount to anything in his life other than inheriting his father's hot dog business.
This is his current handler. This is the guy, bro. Like, if World of T-Shirts falls asleep on stream all drunk, or high on drugs. Bro, he be getting this fucking autistic fuck high on mushrooms. No, autistic man, this mentally fucked off. Need to be taking mushrooms, right? But he be, like, feeding him drugs, bro. And getting him so drunk is like collecting all the money from the TTS. Like it's like fucking watching Only Use Me Blade with a competent fucking handler, bro.
Yes, Michael Quinn is a glizzy salesman in his off time. This almost 50-year-old failure has decided the best way to become successful is to find Josh and follow him around until he was able to convince him to be his pseudo-manager. And like all Lolcow managers, Michael takes a cut of all of Josh's profits, whether that be his cameos, TikTok payouts, and even selfies with fans. Michael Quinn does not do anything to deserve this money, and the only thing he really manages is Josh's alcohol consumption. Now you might be thinking, Josh clearly has an alcohol problem, and Michael managing that has to be a good thing. You would be wrong. It's actually the opposite. Michael Quinn actively encourages Josh to drink more and more alcohol every night so he can film him in his wild drunken state.
He does. Bro, there's like recent shit. Like I told you, I like this is a new lolcow for me. But I've been following his antics for a year. At least. And yeah, his manager, bro, be taking shots of Everclear and get shots of all this shit. And be trying to give it the world of t-shirts like, oh, I can't. Autistic, right? But he knows his limits. He's like, oh, no. He's like, yeah, do it, bro. We're getting more TTSs. We're getting donos and shit, bro. Like, holy fuck.
I have seen videos of Josh after he puked and peed himself hobbling around the streets of New York after a night with Michael. Another disgusting thing Michael encourages Josh to do is smoke cigarettes. On screen right now is a video of Josh ripping a cigarette after the encouragement of his manager, Michael Quinn. I personally believe there is a special place in hell for people like Michael, who are actively encouraging an autistic man to drink copious amounts of alcohol and smoke cigarettes. Apart from encouraging Josh to inebriate himself every night, Michael is also responsible for a couple notable things in the World of T-Shirts timeline, like the creation of the World of T-Shirts tour of New York. For the very low price of just $50 a person, you can have Joshua Block guide you through his favorite parts of New York. Of course, Michael Quinn will also be there chaperoning this whole ordeal, undoubtedly waiting to get his cut of the money for this too. And you might be wondering, what does a tour of New York by World of T-Shirts look like? If we take one quick look at the Google reviews, this might give us some answers to that question. This tour only exists to fund the tour guide's drinking problem. I'm sure there are much better tours of the city to go on. Tour guide was belligerently drunk and urinated all over himself outside Ray's candy shop. The tour ended up just being bar hopping. Overall, would not recommend it until Josh is able to get everything under control. A 20-minute tour for $40 just so the alcoholic tour guide, Josh, can fund his drinking problem. Dude needs to wake up and realize this isn't a way to live. Just because other people do it doesn't mean you should. Highly recommend Daniel Larson's tour or another tour around the city. Truly atrocious, but not nearly as bad as the moldy old sailor hat that he wears. Seriously, what's the point of that? Nasty. Awful experience, little to no actual information on the tour, if you can actually call it that. It feels more like walking your elderly dog around the block and then watching said dog get hammered. Dog is an accurate descriptor because that's exactly what he smells like. Of course, there is no shortage of people on TikTok that paid for this tour and filmed their experience, often looking something like this.
This is the Cooper Union. This is where Abraham Lincoln went to college.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is the old campus. That's a new campus.
Now, obviously, Josh's New York tour would be a hotbed for trolling activity. One thing people like to do is show up for the tour and take his hat.
Beating him. Someone's beating him. Where's the hat? Where's the hat? The red guy in the red. In red. Where is it? Where's the fucking hat? Somebody stole it. Who would want to steal a fucking hat?
I'd like to note that people with autism often have a comfort item or object that helps soothe them in unusual or unique situations, and Josh's hat is most likely his comfort object as he wears it every single day and really doesn't like when people touch it. So showing up to his tour and taking it from him and running away is actually a pretty messed up thing to do.
That guy tried to steal my hat again.
Oh my god, bro. Why don't we have like...
I know it might sound funny, but this is like...
No, why don't we have like establishments anymore, you know, to like house these people? And, you know, it's 2024. I'm not saying we shock them to death or lobotomies, but it's like, bro, could we, like, house them, keep them separate from everything and everyone, and give them places where they could probably, like, get the tools to be socially inept fucking humans, you know?
Like taking a pacifier from a baby. The next thing Michael Quinn orchestrated was a fake beef between Josh and Daniel Larson. While neither party seemed particularly interested in this idea, it is something Michael Quinn really tried to make happen.
Hiring a security detail even larger than the one that Donald Trump has to defend World of T-shirts from Daniel Larson.
Daniel Larson would even respond to Michael at one point.
Messages for Michael Quinn: if you do not stop with the threats, then I will be forced to press charges.
And this entire saga would come to a conclusion when Daniel would fly to New York and meet Josh for a stream.
New York, concrete jungle where dreams are made of. There's nothing you can't do. Now you're in New York.
After Josh would serenade Daniel with his favorite song, they would sit down and have an awkward conversation that was mainly driven by Michael Quinn. The meeting of these two was very lackluster, and there really isn't much to say about it beyond that. The two would part ways after their brief interaction, and they wouldn't cross paths again. From this point forward, Josh's descent into alcoholism only gets worse. He drinks all day, every day. If you just scroll through his Instagram or his TikTok, you will be bombarded by images of Josh with drinks in his hand or at bars drinking. No matter where he goes or what he does, he manages to find alcohol to consume while doing it. Josh's drinking habit has gotten so out of control at this point that there is an account called World of Alcohol Tracker that was created to keep track of his daily consumption. Since Josh posts every single drink he has throughout the day, keeping track of this consumption wasn't an incredibly difficult thing to do. Really big shout out to the World of Alcohol Tracker for putting in the work and showing us how much this guy actually drinks. This is what an average day of drinking looks like for World of T-shirts.
Before we get into the rest of the video, I want to pause and just lay out a disclaimer. This is dangerous. Please do not replicate what you see in this video. It can result in serious injury or permanent damage and consequences. I want to talk a little bit faster in this video so it doesn't take 5 minutes to get through this video. Starting off the day at 1 p.m. we have a 8 ounce or more glass of wine for 2 standard drinks, $16 and 300 calories. Shortly after we have a high noon at 1 p.m. for 1 standard drink, $8 and 100 calories. Less than an hour later at 2 p.m. we have a 99 shooter for 1.5 standard drinks, $2 and 200 calories. 3 p.m. we have a 24 ounce draft dark beer for 2 standard drinks, $14 and 400 calories. At 4 p.m. as well, we're washing down that dark beer with a nice light beer for 1.
I'm not judging. Sometimes I day drink on my days off. I feel like I earned those though. Because I did. But it's like, nah, bro, holy fuck. Like, dude, this motherfucker just drinks nothing but hard shit from the time the sun's not even all the way up in the sky until like dinner. It's like crazy. It's like rich. This is a rich alcoholic.
Standard drink, $7 and 200 calories. After a 3-hour break, we're back with a high noon at 7 p.m. for 1 standard drink, $8 and 100 calories. Less than an hour later, we've got some kind of mixed drink like a raspberry Collins or something at 8 p.m. for 1 standard drink, $12 and 300 calories. An hour later, we've got another 99 shooter for 1.5 standard drinks, $2 and 100 calories. Also at 9 p.m. we have a mixed drink of some sort for 1 standard drink, $12 and 300 calories. Less than an hour later, we're on tour, so we've got a 99 banana shooter for 1.5 standard drinks, $2 and 100 calories. Still on tour at 10 p.m. we've got a McSorley special for 1 standard drink, $8 and 300 calories. And to end the tour at 10 p.m. we've got a high noon for 1 standard drink, $8 and 100 calories. At the tail end of 10 p.m. we've got another mixed drink for 1 standard drink, $12 and 200 calories. Shortly after 11 p.m. we've got what looks to be a margarita for 1.5 standard drinks, $14 and 200 calories. Less than an hour later, same drink again. This time we'll count it as 1 standard drink just so it averages out a little bit better in his favor. For 1 standard drink, $12 and 200 calories. It's midnight, we've got a specialty shot here, but this is going to be 1 standard drink, $10 and 100 calories. Into the late hours of the night, it's now 1 a.m. and we've got a mixed drink for 1 standard drink, $12 and 200 calories. 2 a.m. it's a bit hard to see, it's dark where he's drinking, but it's a taller mixed drink. We'll call it 1.5 standard drinks, $12 and 200 calories. To end the night at 2 a.m. We're going to have one more shot for one standard drink, $8 and 100 calories. Before we go on to totals, I want you to take a quick look at this chart. Between 0.15 and 0.19 is the beginning of the blackout range. 0.20 to 0.24 is the latter stages of the blackout phase. Now everybody's different and everybody has a different tolerance, but in the 0.25 to 0.39 range, your symptoms could range anywhere from nothing to risk of no longer being alive. That being said, let's take a look at the totals. Josh had a total of 23.5 standard drinks last night. It put his max BAC at 0.31. That's beyond the blackout range. He spent a total of $167 and drank a total of 3,500 calories. Lastly, if you take a look at the bottom of the chart, you'll see at 11 a.m. the next day, this morning, he still has a BAC of 0.16.
That
if we
is
fast
like,
forward and look at
holy
the chart for
shit. Holy shit. And he did this for a whole day? He literally was just like, not able to walk in a straight line for the whole day, bro.
Even though he hasn't had any drinks yet on camera, he won't be completely 100% sober until 9 p.m. tonight.
So there are very few hours in the day that Josh will spend with no alcohol in his system. The World of Alcohol Tracker would even break down Josh's average alcohol consumption for the
That's insane! I thought our vortex, our cozy little community, bro, I thought we went hard. Right? It's like, no, they have an alcohol tracker.
Entire year, and this is where the statistics get really sad.
In December, Josh had a total of 306.3 standard drinks
I knew we
on
weren't
camera.
weird. I knew we weren't that weird. Okay, for keeping track of Phil's lies and how much money he be doing fucking off with. No, I knew we weren't weird. They actually be tracking how much alcohol he consumes, like down to the BAC. What the fuck? They know how many alcohol particles are in his bloodstream in a given point a day. Goddamn, bro. That's ops. That's having ops, bro. What the fuck? Why are we on Kino Casino? Jesus Christ.
Because if I just take their
him and running away is actually a pretty messed up thing.
We've got a specialty shot here, but this is going to be one standard drink, $10 and 100 calories
That's
into the late hours.
insane.
Lastly, if you take a look at the bottom of the chart, you'll see at 11 a.m. the next day, this morning, he still has a BAC of 0.16. If we fast forward and look at the chart for today, even though he hasn't had any drinks yet on camera, he won't be completely 100% sober until 9 p.m. tonight.
So there are very few hours in the day that Josh will spend with no alcohol in his system. The World of Alcohol Tracker would even break down Josh's average alcohol consumption for the entire year, and this is where the statistics get really sad.
In December, Josh had a total of 306.3 standard drinks on camera. That's an average of about 10 per day. He spent a total of $1,502 on alcohol. He drank a total of 47,950 calories in alcohol. That's the same as 86 Big Macs. Throughout the entire month of December, Josh had an average BAC of 0.08 hour by hour. His highest BAC in December was 0.35, which is much higher than the blackout range. Reminder that the blackout range starts anywhere between the 0.15 and 0.25 to 0.3 range. It's different for everybody. Everybody's different, but 0.35 is after the blackout range. This is like where you're entering coma territory, alcohol poisoning levels. He spent a total of 243 hours with a BAC of 0.00. That's 33% of the month he was completely sober. He spent 477 hours last month with a BAC higher than 0. That's 66% of the time. He spent 291 hours with a BAC of 0.08 or higher, and that's 40% of the time last month. That means for 40% of last month entirely, he had a BAC higher than you are allowed to drive with. He spent 67 total hours last month blacked out. Reminder, that's a BAC of higher than 0.2, and that's almost 10% of last month was in a blackout state. Across the whole month of December, Josh averaged 0.43 drinks per hour, and that's approximately the same thing as taking a shot of vodka every 2 hours for an entire month. If you take these numbers above and average them out over an entire year, Josh will have a total of 3,675 drinks. He will spend a total of $18,024. That's enough to buy a 2016 Dodge Charger with a couple $100 left over to put in your pocket, or instead, you could book an all-inclusive trip to a resort in Cancun, Mexico at about $360 per room per night, you could stay for 52 days. That's right, instead of spending $18,000 on alcohol, you could go live for 2 months at an all-inclusive resort. That would be pretty crazy. And lastly, over an entire year on average, he will consume 575,400 calories in alcohol.
So you should all keep those numbers in mind when you decide to buy a Cameo or pay for a tour through New York with him. You can almost guarantee Josh is going to use that money you give him to buy alcohol. Or he's going to use it on a plane ticket to fly to different places to get wasted. Just take a look at all the places Josh has been this last year traveling. Not only that, but Josh probably eats better than both you and I do. Apart from the images of his drinks, Josh also likes to post the food he's eating, and let me tell you, it's nothing to scoff at.
Son of a bitch. I spent $89 on French onion soup, shrimp scampi, and a glass of wine. Fucking price gouging.
However, if Josh was just spending his money on expensive food and traveling, that wouldn't be the issue here. At the end of the day, he is an autistic man with a severe alcohol addiction that's being taken advantage of by Michael Quinn and trolled to no end. The story of Joshua Block is kind of a sad one. What once was a naive, goofy kid dancing in his grandpa's house is now an alcoholic mess wandering the streets of New York. Although he's managed to make quite a career out of what he does, Josh definitely needs a real role model in his life to help him with his alcohol addiction and get him away from Michael Quinn. Not too long ago, Josh was even arrested for subway surfing. Subway surfing is when someone rides on top of, the side of, or behind a subway car, and while I can't see Josh actually doing this, there is footage of him being escorted out of the subway by police, so he was arrested for something. Just another prime example of why Josh needs a serious role model in his life to get him on the straight and narrow. This has been the story of World of T-Shirts, the alcoholic king. Thank you to everyone that's made it to this point, and a massive shout out to all my
king of New York. I love that title. It's just funny. But no, dude, every day, every fucking day, there's something about that dude, like crashing out all drunk on the streets of New York. Okay, the last thing before I get the fuck out of here, bro. We have Phil. We have a little more Phil news, bro, okay? Because he's going to get on the podcast tomorrow and probably talk about Destiny again. And don't forget, Destiny is an admittedly bisexual man who on his own stream say, yeah, if there's a guy I like, if there's a guy I think that's attractive, yeah, I'll suck his dick. Yeah, I'll fuck a guy. You know, so it's not even surprising to me that Destiny fucks guys. But it's, dude, it's fucked up that it's like revenge porn. And Phil is just glorifying the things that he would demonize other people making fun of him about. Like, bro, what happened to Destiny and his revenge porn is way worse than any single thing that's ever been done to Phil. You know, short of probably like swatting or something. But even then, Phil ain't even been swatted. Like, it's the worst thing that's probably happened to a content creator that's worse than anything Phil could ever go through. And just because Destiny made fun of Phil one time because he said retarded shit that should have been made fun of. Oh, bro, Phil's so petty. He's so petty, bro. So petty. So any chance he gets, he's going to try to slide on Destiny. But I'm trying to tell you, Destiny's so big nowadays that, like, Phil making fun of him is just like a fire ant trying to fucking bite your toe, bro. You know? So, of course, Phil's sitting here. Oh, my God. Phil's embarrassing himself at this point. Destiny's trying to roll with it. Like I did. Like, bro, he's so narcissistic. And then Destiny's doing just what I did when I got caught jerking off. But there's a critical difference. What I admitted to and joked about, every man does. If he blew Nick Fuentes, it's all over for both of them. There's no joke here, just facts. Sleep in the bed you made. Don't forget, Destiny is a bisexual male who has talked about him being bisexual on his streams and has straight up said it. Yeah, bro. Like, yeah, I'm attracted. If there's a man, I'm gonna suck his dick. So it's pretty much like, not even a controversy. It's like, it's drama. At least, I don't know. If you're into political streamers or politics, yeah, bro, maybe it's some big thing for you, but I don't know. As an adult, it's like some shit between two adults that probably shouldn't have gotten out. And it's like, it shouldn't be a surprise if you know Destiny, right? Like, him sucking some guy's cock, or his cock being sucked by a dude, they ain't fucking news. You know, it's like, hey, Chill Murray, did you see that white puffy thing in the sky? They're calling it a cloud. And yeah, it's like Destiny said he's a bisexual man. I'm not surprised, right? That a sex tape of him sucking a dick or getting his dick sucked is out there. That shouldn't be a thing. But the thing that is bad about it, it's like revenge porn, you know? It's like bad. And Phil's trying to act like it's a gotcha. You know, it's a big gotcha. And you see Destiny, the bisexual man, getting his dick sucked by another grown man. It's not as bad as anything I've done. You see, here's the difference. And it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. And it's like, look how Destiny responds to it. He responds to his drama way better than Phil would, right? This fool's trying to make fun of him. And then Destiny's like, he never told me his name. He just identified as in. And said he was of 91% Casatio blood, whatever that means. He also had a ton of Gru/Minion figurines in his apartment for some reason. I don't care why. Like, I don't know why. You know, that's way better than what Phil would have did. That's better than what Phil fucking handled. You're bad. Phil would have blocked this person. He wouldn't even interacted with him. He would have just blocked him. And yeah, he's just a moron. He's just one of my hating of morons. Destiny actually was like, yeah, bro, joked around with him and didn't even ban him or nothing. But I don't know. This is so stupid. But look, I'm not the only person that sees how hypocritically gay Phil is fucking acting and how petty he's being. Like, look, Destiny is literally a victim of revenge porn. For all intents and purposes, I know you're super hurt that certain people didn't take you seriously like everyone knows you want them to, but this isn't the hill you should die on at all. You are not a serious person, Phil. It's like true. No, Phil. Here's the difference. What happened to Destiny was leaked without his permission, which makes it revenge porn. Something that you're currently laughing at. Secondly, nobody knows the identity of the second individual, so stop making up facts, which is true. They're just like assuming it's Nick Fuentes, you know? Because that's like a funny thing that would be a reality, I guess. Still not the win you think this is. Keep self-felting yourself on Destiny takes. Very homophobic, Phil. Didn't expect more of you. Keep at it. Waste of oxygen. You're acting as if you still have a career. Yeah, bro. He's acting like Phil's sitting here like some guy, bro. Proud ally. Phil, you still lie about your WWE Champions account. Come on, champ. How very homophobic of you. Career ruined because he's bi? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, for real. Why do you find revenge porn so funny? Phil wouldn't find it funny if it was his. Yeah, nah, dummy. Nick Tards will keep pretending he isn't gay, and Destiny Tards don't care that he's a gay, drug addict, sex pest, and revenge porn criminal? Like, okay. You obviously don't like Destiny because of his political takes, which I understand, but what the fuck? He admits to doing drugs and sucking cock and shit. That's what makes, like, his trolls non-effective for him, ultimately, right? 3 things you need to know. That was not Nick Fuentes. Destiny is a self-confessed bisexual and degenerate. Yup, he is. Destiny gets off from humiliation. I think he does, bro. That's funny as hell. Dude, all these people are sitting here going against Phil and pretty much having Destiny's back. How exactly is it over for them? Is it because they're gay? Hold on, dude. He's trying to pull an amazing atheist, and he comes off extremely forced and fake. Yeah, because Phil is. He is fake. Phil, there are rumors all over the internet that you blew an 8-year-old Japanese boy at a Street Fighter tournament in 2002. How do you respond? Oh my god, that was goated, bro. What the fuck? I need to fucking repost that. Fuck Phil. Every man does not jack off live and not clean themselves up. Oh shit. Bro, Phil's still getting roasted when Phil thinks he's roasting someone else. Damn. Holy shit. You actually typed this out and still posted this. So much to break down. But Destiny's reply here would be exactly what you would say if you were in his position, by the way. Yeah, it kind of is, right? Let it go, Piggy. It's 2 a.m. and you're texting about men blowing one another. LMAO, go to sleep in separate beds with your wife and check your mail in the morning, bro. God damn. Our boy's getting fucked. He's getting cooked. God damn. Dude, you denied it for the longest time. You could have capitalized on it. With merch and you did it. Now, others are making money off your O face. Don't be throwing stones there, buddy. Sorry, I have hiccups. God damn it, bro. Look, literally, when I get hiccups, they're like cartoonish. I have the most cartoonish hiccups ever. Like, what the fuck, bro? Every man does. Hold it, old boy. We don't tickle the worm right before a conference call in front of our working laptops. Coming from the guy that actively tried to lie and cover up jerking off in front of stream immediately after it happened. Destiny is more of a man than you'll ever be. Damn, I gotta like that one, bro. Whoop. Shit. But nah, y'all gotta check this out. The greatest thing ever is that I am blocked. Phil has me blocked, but I can actually experience his ass getting put ass the belt, bro. For the retarded shit he says. Holy shit. Phil's a retard. He's nothing but a petty fucking ass retard, you know? Because Destiny rightfully called out how stupid he was to sit here and do the shit with his BMW and say it was a buyer's market for fucking cars. Like, what the fuck? It's the most retarded shit you could ever say. Oh my god! I'm gonna get out of here. My hiccups are killing me. But I'll be here tomorrow for Phil and his gay-ass podcast, bro. I'm pretty sure he's gonna talk about Destiny and all that shit. Yada yada whoop-de-woo, bro. You know, beg for cash. Yada yada yada. But I had a lot of fun. Thank you for the support. Thanks for just kicking it with your boy. Hope you guys take care of yourselves and each other. Stay hydrated, stay high. And hopefully I see some of you guys tomorrow morning for Phil's autistic, delusional fucking rambles he calls a podcast.